day to you all. I could use a hand figuring out whether or not the audio levels are good. Would you be able to help me out here? And let me know whether or not it sounds decent before I truly begin the stream. Because unfortunately this is not something I can really test beforehand. Background's a little loud. It's good you hear me. I just need to well, not overwhelm. I really need to be a lot louder than the background audio. In fact, I should probably move. That's weird, I've never heard that before. More volume on voice. How's this? Is this better? About as loud as I can probably get it. A little bit quiet. Sucks, man. Much better? Good. I'm just turning up the gain. Music is too loud. I'm getting conflicting things here, guys. No, I need to be louder. No, it's perfect. Yeah, I can lower the music. That shouldn't be a problem. This better? So if I'm talking out, this is a bit of a loud spot. Is it overwhelmed? Because I can just keep turning it down. I just don't want it to be too low, so it's inaudible, but looking at the gauges here, I don't know how much there is of a delay, but we shall see. Because I could be doing things, you're like, oh, that's perfect, then I change, it's like, where the hell's the music gone? Too many gauges. Right. Good, good, good. Good, very good. I am more than certain that there will be music that is louder than my voice, but we are gonna just grin and bear it. The music's still a bit loud? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Everyone, give me your energy so that I can do this properly. Literally, I'm looking at the gauges and my voice is like all the way on the other end into the yellow. There's green, yellow, and red. The desktop audio is not even on there. Oh, I see. How about now? I was playing with the wrong ones. Oh, goodness me. Is it much better now? Yeah, I was lowering the wrong gauge. I am a very intelligent man. I have a degree, you know. I'll wait for the responses to get in before I reveal myself. Perfect. Okay, got an awesome, a thumbs up, a nice, a perfect, and yes, it's much better. A lot better. Okay, so I'm playing with the right gauges. In fact, I should just delete this one that's just randomly here. Ah, well. Can you still hear the music, though? Thank you very much, that one cool guy. Maravilloso. Estoy feliz. ¿Y cansado? Pero bien. Good backroom volume. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What about now? It just suddenly, you know, like it's a loud pot. Okay. I am about to unveil my face. Are you ready? I know that all of you have probably seen my face before, but every time I do these streams, there's always someone who hasn't seen it. Somehow. Some way. Here we go. That's the wrong one. Hello everybody. I am Nature's Temper, and yes, I have a pink chair. And yes, I am joined by the famous Sir David Attenborough. It's really him. He's just a bit thin. You've not seen my face? Here it is. Hey, hey, hey. So, welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Scott, also known as Nature's Temper. Today I will be streaming for a charity that is very near and dear to my heart. That charity is Rewilding Britain. And I will show you them right now. Oh, I would if I didn't close the damn page. Give me a sec. I spent hours getting this ready as well. So, I'm clever. Super clever. Here we go. This is Rewilding Britain. So, what is rewilding? Well, rewilding is a form of conservation that helps the environment, the animals, the plants, and everything that lives in it, and us as well. It's a very progressive form of conservation. If most of you don't know, or if any of you don't know, I'm actually a zoologist. I work part-time in a zoo where I educate people on topics such as this. So, I really like Rewilding Britain because they are very forward-thinking when it comes to protecting our lands, reintroducing wildlife, such as this. But I'll go into more detail in a sec, because it's a very complex process, and a lot of people here who are watching the stream are not from Britain, so why should they even think about helping? Like, why should you care? Sorry, I'm just going to read the chat. Never heard of him. Oh, thank you very much. Something happening to horror reading? No, I will be reading horror. I'll be narrating live for you guys to help raise money for this charity. That's the main goal. Sorry if I didn't make it clear here. But yes, there is a donation link directly to Rewilding Britain in the description of the video if you feel so inclined. If not, that's absolutely okay. But any donations sent to the stream or on Super Chat on here, I will be sending directly to Rewilding Britain from my own bank account. Oh, welcome, my Louisianan friends. Yes, so rewilding is a very innovative and very forward-thinking way of conserving wildlife. So, instead of me telling you, why don't I just show you? And I'll have to turn down this music. And for some reason... Okay, it is there. Okay, good.
Here's a familiar upland scene in England and Wales and in parts of Scotland, with the vegetation on the hills grazed bowling green short, often on very steep slopes. This causes rainwater to run off the hills more rapidly, which in some cases leads to soil erosion. You can see landslips at the bottom of the slope on the right of the valley, which have happened because of this erosion. This is a landscape reflecting centuries of sheep farming. Sheep have been free to roam across the hills, and particularly in the last century, they've done so in very large numbers in the same places for long periods. This is why it looks the way it does, and it's part of the reason why biodiversity is so poor in these areas. Apart from intensively grazed grassland, the other dominant feature of this landscape is the dense, regimented blocks of non-native conifer forestry.
You can't hear it? Oh, this is perfect.
Habitat for most species of wildlife you would naturally expect to find here.
I hate machines.
And then there's the heather on the grouse moors above. It's being burned in this picture. Many grouse moor managers burn the land routinely to encourage new heather shoots, which red grouse feed on. This helps to keep the grouse numbers high, enabling more grouse to be shot for sport. But a completely heather-dominated moorland is in effect a monoculture, and as a consequence, the variety and abundance of wildlife here is hugely suppressed. Eroded peat is a typical sight in many of our uplands. These peat hags in the foreground of the picture are evidence that the peat is drying out and eroding, releasing large stores of carbon. If you focus on the valley bottom, you'll see a river which has been historically straightened, widened and deepened to get water away downstream as fast as possible. The river has a main road running alongside it, and it has been embanked in places to enable what was its floodplain to be farmed all year round. All of these man-made interventions have reduced the biodiversity value of the river environment and have unwittingly increased the flood risk to communities further downstream. Red grouse are abundant in this landscape, as you would expect, but so are generalist species such as the fox, carrion crow and magpie. These species typically thrive in areas where there are lots of livestock and where specialist predator and scavenger species have declined or are absent due to persecution and habitat loss. Apart from grouse shooting and sheep farming, there's very little economic activity here. Of course, you will get a few walkers passing through. They won't be seeing much in the way of wildlife if they are, mind you, and they'll probably be hurrying on to the next viewpoint. Overall, this is very much a man-made landscape. You could describe it as green and brown and lumpy. To some, it will have an aesthetic appeal, and its remoteness may even make it feel wild, but in reality, it is far from that.
Just to interrupt the video here. Just to interrupt the video, I would like to show you just how depleted Britain is. Oh, am I still there, guys? Am I still here? Okay, good. Grass deserts is a perfect example, description of Britain. But here is Google Maps. This is my country, my nation, I should say, made up of multiple countries. So, the dark green bits, they are considered areas of outstanding natural beauty or national parks or a beautiful place to go, okay? Even in the spaces in between, it's still green. Now, if we go to actual... Wait, how do I do this again? Terrain. What? Am I stupid? Oh, yeah, I am stupid. If I go to satellite, there we go. It still looks pretty green, pretty alright. But when we zoom in on what is considered a national park in the UK, we get this. This is considered a national park in the UK. And you can see where man-made, like, peat extraction has happened. Moor burnings. And to some, this looks fairly natural in certain places. Like, maybe if you live in California or Texas or another place that has a lot of deserts, this might not look too crazy. But I am living in one of the most water-soaked nations in the world. And this is a national park. This is what's considered beautiful here. Unfortunately, knowledge is kind of a burden when you're a naturalist, because you come to understand these places of natural beauty are, in fact, extremely degraded and horrific ecosystems, if they can even be called ecosystems. Here's another one. This is called Snowdonia. This is one of the most popular mountains to climb in the UK. And here we have some actual woodland, which is fantastic. But if we zoom out, you can see it is very fragmented and very, very, well, for lack of a better term, shite. But if we look between onto the countryside, that makes up the majority of Britain. It's very patchwork farmland that the bulk of it is used for sheep farming and cattle farming, which is very unsustainable. Just to show you the wildest places in Britain real quick. So this is northern Scotland. Scotland is considered to be the last true wilderness in the UK. But even when we zoom in here, we have plantations. So most of these will be Douglas firs, which are not native to the UK, or some other introduced species of tree, and that can't support a lot of wildlife. Sooty, what are you doing? She doesn't like it either. It's an extremely harrowing thing to be a naturalist, a nature lover, and living in one of the most nature-depleted countries in the entire world. So that's why I'm supporting Rewilding Britain. Because if we look here, UK has led the way in destroying the natural environment. This is just an example. Intensive agriculture, soil depletion, the extinction of our native wildlife. In the UK, I was actually surprised to find out a lot of people abroad don't know that we don't have any apex predators. Our largest predator in the UK is actually the European badger, which gets to a maximum of 20 kilograms or 44 pounds. It is extremely, extremely sad. We killed our last brown bear, I believe it was on Christmas in the 1800s or 1700s. The last apex predator to be killed was my personal favourite, the grey wolf, which was extirpated in the UK in the late 1800s, I believe. I don't have an exact date because it's hard to know those things, and I'm not very smart. But conversely, here's the top 10 countries for biodiversity. Brazil, obvious. South Africa speaks for itself. Madagascar, Ecuador, Mexico, United States, which many of my followers will be from. So a lot of people may see these horrible things going on in their own countries that are detrimental to the planet, but it's always worse somewhere else. Even the UK isn't the worst in the world. But I tell you now, a lot of you have it very good in some places. And even China. Even China is one of the most biodiverse countries in the world. Incredible. Philippines, Australia. Yeah, top 10. You guys are top 10, so be proud of that. I know I say you guys, but I know the majority of you guys are American. For those of you that aren't, same boat. So yeah.
In this second image, we see change taking place. This is roughly 10 years later. The biggest difference is that grazing pressure has been significantly reduced.
So this is if
sheep have been taken off the hills, and that's allowing vegetation to recover.
In these places.
Burning has stopped on the grouse moor. Maybe shooting has stopped altogether. This change in land use will allow nature to bounce back over time. It's important to remember that a lot of nature recovery can be achieved simply by us ceasing activities that cause harm. The non-native conifers have been felled and replanted with native deciduous trees, which changes the whole look of the area and supports more wildlife. These new trees will provide a seed source for future generations of scrub and woodland without the need for planting. This will help to store more carbon in this landscape, and it significantly increases the infiltration of rain into the soil and bedrock below. An excellent example of natural flood management. Small numbers of suitable rare breed cattle are being allowed to roam freely, introducing some different grazing into the mix and providing an opportunity for this landscape to still produce good quality meat.
Yeah, because we're not
There's been some fantastic work to restore the peatland. Drainage ditches have been blocked and eroding peat hags revegetated.
At least
the peat is getting wetter again, so now we have all this rich vegetation growing, which is great for insects, birds and other animals. It also stores more carbon and reduces flood risk because the mass of mosses and other plants that are now thriving help to hold more water above ground and slow the flow off the hills.
And this is only a few months
Here, the black grouse population is bouncing back, and there's been a marked increase in the numbers of small birds and mammals, which provide food for raptors like the merlin and short-eared owl. The river has become a lot wilder. The main road has been relocated to the edge of the floodplain, and the flood embankments have been deliberately breached. Now the river is being allowed to find its own path and reclaim its natural floodplain. This should help to slow the flow of water off the land and reduce the risk of flooding downstream.
There are plenty of invasive species in the UK. And here's what could happen.
Here we are, about 50 years into the future. The landscape...
Yes, so just again to interrupt, we no longer have this species here. This is the Eurasian lynx. It was our smallest apex predator. I think it's one of the world's smallest apex predators in general, but it's Europe's third largest. So it goes Eurasian lynx, the grey wolf, and the European brown bear. But these guys have also been extirpated from the UK, and they play a massive role in predating on mesopredators like foxes, which we all love foxes. Foxes are great. But mesopredators have an influence where they go out of control when they are not predated upon. Unlike apex predators, which they control their own numbers, which is an incredible thing. So don't believe trophy owners when they say they have to shoot all the wolves and lions, because they literally don't. They control their own numbers.
The landscape has changed dramatically. It's full of colour, texture and life. Nature is really being allowed to take care of itself now. It's been given a helping hand with the creation of a green bridge across the main road. This allows wild animals and livestock to move more freely and safely through the landscape. And the lynx is back. There's no reason we shouldn't have lynx back in Britain in upland landscapes like this.
Exactly. The
natural woodland here will suit their stealthy ambush hunting technique, and they'll help to manage deer numbers, which would otherwise have a big impact on the vegetation. The wildcat has also been successfully reintroduced after teetering on the brink of extinction in Britain at the beginning of the 21st century.
They are not doing
Hopefully, well-planned reintroduction projects will see it return to many of our uplands. The previously degraded peat area has now completely transformed into a luscious mosaic of vegetation. This is great for birds and insects, including a few species like the marbled white butterfly, which have expanded their ranges northwards as a result of climate warming. There are more people here too. The rewilding this valley has led to many more job opportunities through diversification of land use. Grouse shooting and sheep farming may have ceased, but there are still livestock to be cared for, and you can see people foraging, perhaps for berries or mushrooms. There are walkers, cyclists, people camping and glamping, and the return of the beaver is drawing in more visitors to the wetlands in the valley bottom. People are also growing food on a small market garden scale, in the polytunnels and in a small orchard near the buildings. On the hills, free-ranging cattle, wild boar and red deer all provide small quantities of very popular high-quality meat for local communities. And then there are the activities we can't see here, which all contribute to the local economy, including low-impact silviculture, nature tour guiding, wild swimming, forest schools and scientific monitoring. These all bring in extra jobs and a big increase in volunteers, helping to restore vitality and economic resilience to these upland landscapes. This is a challenging but genuinely achievable vision for rewilding in our uplands. Now we need to think big and act wild to make it happen.
Yeah, so thanks for watching that, guys. I know it can be a lot to listen to. This is the story I was planning on reading to kick things off. But yes, rewilding is the best thing we have to not only fight climate change, but biodiversity loss and restore lost biodiversity already. It just needs help, especially in Britain, as we are islands. Well, a few islands, mainly one big island. But anyway, I'm going to answer a few questions from the chat, and then I'm going to give it a go on the first story for today. There are wildcats in the UK. Most of them, at least half of the population, unfortunately, are hybridized with domestic cats, which the big problem with that is the offspring that has reproduced with these feral or domestic cats are less able to survive in a wild environment, so it very much dilutes the wild population's gene pool and gives them bad traits. But they only survive in Scotland, hence the name in the UK. They're usually just called the Scottish wildcat. But there is movement to reintroduce them to parts of Wales and England, which would be fantastic. How independent are different ecosystems? Well, all ecosystems are interconnected. We just use the term like ecosystems to make it more digestible, because we say, oh, here's a woodland, here's a pond, here's a blah blah. We are still connected here. Like from where I live, there's a canal there. The nutrient cycle, the weather cycle, everything is connected in the long run, even to you guys where you are in the world. If species X goes extinct in ecosystem 1, blah blah, sorry, not blah, species Y that lives in ecosystem 2 goes extinct. Well, animals are very codependent on their environment and their ecosystems. For example, once the grey wolf went extinct in the UK, this had a massive trophic cascade on the rest of the environment, because the influence wolves have on their prey is unmatched by any other species we had here in the UK, even our beautiful Eurasian lynx here. Wolves and lynx to a lesser extent, just because of the type of prey they go for, but they're still important. Wolves instill a landscape of fear. This landscape of fear is basically what tells deer to stop grazing in one spot and keep moving on. They never stay in one spot too long to overgraze that vegetation. Unfortunately, now that we have no natural predators in the UK, and even with humans hunting them every so often, this doesn't do the trick. Humans do not instill the landscape of fear effect. Only wild predators do. This goes for lions in Africa. This goes for dingoes in Australia. This goes for every single apex predator that exists. Even saltwater crocodiles living on the coast of Australia, great whites off the coast of America. Every single one has an influence on its prey. So those deer are the biggest example. They overgraze their food source, to which like the majority of our deer in the UK are extremely scraggly by comparison, and without wolves weeding out the weakest with the poorest genes, most of them are able to pass on those negative traits from one to another. And when these prey species devastate new shoots, new trees, new plants, forests shrink and are unable to regenerate because they're constantly eating the most nutritious food, which is shoots from trees and bushes and all sorts of stuff like that. It's not great. And that's why we need animals like wolves to return to the UK and parts of Europe where they're already returning but facing some backlash. Anyway, though, I spent ages on that question. Sorry, my cat's just being a bit nosy. I will get to the narration. Sorry it's taking so long, guys. We need a genetic library. Oh, we do. The wild boar isn't hunted. I don't know for sure. Our wild boar populations are extremely isolated throughout the UK. And some of them are hybridized with domestic animals, domestic pigs. It's a very confusing situation, but they do perform a vital part of the ecosystem. They upturn the soil, which provides places for birds and reptiles and amphibians to feed and even live in. They change the types of vegetation that lives in one area. See, this child, she is surrounded by a plant called bracken, which is a type of fern, where there is very few boar throughout the UK. And bracken takes a hold. Even though it's a native plant, it overwhelms everything. So a lot of other native plants get overshadowed and die out, which is such a massive shame. Yes. Anyway, guys, that's why I'm supporting Rewilding Britain. That was a long and drawn out process, but hopefully you can understand why I'm supporting them now, because I'm sick and tired of living in a degraded ecosystem that is on its last legs, pretty much. So anything you guys can give to help support this amazing charity, I'd very much appreciate it. Who knows? Maybe in the future, that'll help out. Maybe we'll get the wolves back and the lynx. I hunt in America to help with conservation. In my religion, I hold wolves to very high regard. It's very sad when they are gone from Britain. Yeah, so hunting deer helps a bit in the UK, but unfortunately, the lack of an apex predator. I know people say humans are apex predators, but they just don't have that effect. Even if you cull a ton of the numbers, that does not do the job of instilling that landscape of fear. It just doesn't. It's so sad. Hopefully you're not hunting wolves, Alexander. Hopefully not, because there is no need to hunt apex predators because they control their own numbers. A lot of people use that excuse when they do hunt apex predators for conservation's sake, but it is now very well documented that apex predators do not go out of control their own populations, because they control their own populations and interspecies conflict with other species. Think of Africa. Think of actually every continent that had these apex predators before humans even existed. They keep things in balance. Nature is a constant balance. The only thing that throws them off is, unfortunately, us. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you all coming. Not at all. I do not hunt wolves. Great to hear. Because the effects they're having on the ecosystem. It's a shame to hear about the coyotes, but they are a mesopredator at the same time, so their populations are the type that can get out of control. So I can understand that. The boar, I mean, they're not even native to the States, so that is a big thing that I understand, like, absolutely. I have no conflict with hunting for sustainability. Sustainable hunting is way better than cattle farming, unfortunately. Unsustainable cattle farming. Anyway, I think I've been talking long enough, haven't I? Should we... Sorry, I keep reading. Yes. And one of the reasons coyotes are spreading so much is because of the influence of wolves. Well, the lack of influence from wolves. Because wolves suppress mesopredator numbers. Oh, it's all interconnected. We just need to restore what we've lost. Anyway, I think I saw someone ask something about the donations. You can either do a super chat here in the stream, and that will go to me, and I'll put that forward to Rewilding Britain. Either that, or you could go to the description and donate directly to Rewilding Britain, and I would really appreciate that. Who's that standing in the background? That's David Attenborough. He's a famous narrator. It's my bro. Could talk ecology with you all day. Well, unfortunately, this is a narration stream, so I should probably get to it. Should also mention that those of you who do have stories very specific that you want narrated, the best way of doing that is to send a super chat with the link. I know, it sounds kind of underhanded and snide, but it's a good way to raise money, and who am I to be like that? You don't see the super chat button? That would be a really big problem. That would really ruin the stream if I could. Oh, man. Hold on, I'm going to check and make sure we have it. Sooty, down, baby. Down, girl. Come on. I see it up here, but that's an insert ad thing. I don't want to do that. Sooty, no. No, Sooty, down. Oh, that would... Sorry, my cat. Either get on the lap or bugger off. Eh? Yeah, they've changed how it works here on... cancel. They've changed how it works with YouTube and streaming and stuff, so I just got to make sure everything is working before I go ahead and get this under control. Might be a case of me restarting the stream, which is fine. I'll do that if need be. Which is blah blah. Da-da-da. Ah. Where is the super chat option? Did that get deleted with my loss of being able to make money? You know, the monetization bullcrap that happened? Monetization, blah blah. Supers, blah blah. I mean, that's fine. Supers. Your super chat and stickers. Do I just need to turn it on, literally? Did it? Hold on. Let me know if you guys refresh the stream if the super chat option is at the bottom. It looks like a little, I think it's a little money symbol. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate that for letting me know, because otherwise this would have been not for nothing, but at the same time, not the best. Right? Those team C's, blah blah. Hope my internet's not going slow. Just doing some stretches. Ooh, that was nice. Yeah, because right now the... Why is that not working? Trying to turn on the super chat. Super chat now enabled. Ah, right, okay. So it wasn't turned on before. I don't know why that's even an option, and it's not even in the right place. It's somewhere else completely. I'll turn on all these things. Super stickers, super thanks. There we go. Oh, sorry, Chris. Hopefully you can... Feel free to tune into the VOD later. How is Super Chat not automatically... So stupid. Right. I'm gonna see if I can see it now. So stupid. Yeah, it's there now. Yep, it's there. I think you just have to close the stream and open it. Fantastic. Fantastic. We work together. Me and you, we are a team. If you don't see it, literally just close the stream and reopen it. Not refresh the page, just like open a new tab and do it that way. That's how it worked for me. Adios mio. Just go out and come back in. Wonder if I refresh this page. Yep. Super chat is there. Yes, our first one has come in from the lovely Mofucius, the amazing author of I Drive for Serba. I don't know why I said it like that. I Drive for Serba. Thank you so much, Mofucius. Setting off with a bang. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. With your beautiful, what's the word? Serba orange right there. I see what you're doing. I see it. If that wasn't on purpose, I'm surprised. And hit the like button, guys. Can we get 2 million likes? or only right now. Tell my mom just go. Oh, don't worry. You don't have to donate. You absolutely don't have to. I just appreciate if you do. If you do want to support the charity that I have linked in the description, just check it out later when you can spare anything. If you can't, that is no problem. Spreading awareness is very much appreciated, though. Oh, we are getting more in. 4-Shot Pastas, love your work, though. Thank you very much. I believe you're the author of one of the stories I have on my to-do list as well. So your work is also cool. Thank you very much. Kieran Ford, keep up the good work, man. Thank you. Very much intend to. Anyway, I'm going to get started with the first story because I think you have all been waiting long enough. Am I right? Maybe next song. It's not working. What's going on here? What's going on here? Hey, that's not it. Almost ready. Stop it, VLC. I don't want to play in you. Okay. Right. I'm getting a bit of some audio glitches here, which is fantastic. Can you stop it? I'm not pressing that. Oh, this is so official. Oh dear. I guess I do get to read something in a second. That's where I had all my music able to play in a list, but now I cannot. What is going on? I guess we're going to have to listen to the same song over and over again till the next story. I do apologize. Screw it, we'll be fine. You appreciate a little dance, Joshua Joseph. If it's for the wildlife, I'll do a really quick one just for you guys, okay? I know, I'm super white. Is there any plans for any more Serba? Is the story finished? No futures? I think that question's for you. Anyway, let's get started, everybody. Is the audio okay, by the way? It's sounding a bit high up there, so I'm going to turn that down. Da-da-da-da. A little loud? Thank you. You're kidding, but not really. Yeah. Clarify that before I do the silly dance. Why? I don't get it why he keeps doing this, the audio. Sorry, just gonna make sure. This guy. Oh, that's why. I think. Desktop audio. Is it okay now? Stream just as long as I feel. Okay. I've just got to make sure the audio is okay. Now you can't hear it? Ay, Dios mío. How about now? Is it okay now? I can see it appearing on the bottom. We're almost ready, guys. We're almost bloody there. Extremely faint. I know if I turn it up, you guys are going to complain that it's too loud. Because I just turned it down. Yeah, there we go, see? It's just boosted itself. I watched it do it. The little bastard machine. Well, trial and error, I say. Hey, Rune, how's it going? We're just about to start the first narration, even though we are almost an hour in. All right. This song, this song's dedicated to you, baby. This story is entitled The Estate, Prelude. A learned man once stated that if you looked into the abyss for too long, it might stare back at you. I'm paraphrasing, of course, yet the idea of two eyes popping out of the well and staring up at you sends chills down my spine, for reasons I'm hesitant to look into. I considered this as I stood on the railing overlooking the garden beneath my friend William's estate. Total darkness fell a couple of feet over the balcony. For all I knew, the stone-cobbled pathway I took to get here might not as well have not existed. The estate, a massive brick thing overgrown with moss and spattered with old dew, was a lonesome giant. The damn thing was so decrepit and curving from old age, it actually hit the stars and moon directly above my head with its spiked shingles. The numerous 7-foot-tall window arced up and ended unapologetic marble spikes. Enjoying the view? A sudden voice chimed next to me. I jumped and turned towards Will, who was standing there, smirking in amusement. Jesus Christ. Keep asking you not to do that. And not really, I can't see shit. William crossed his arms and looked over the railing. I kinda like it. It reminds me how much more exploring there is to get done. He didn't look cold at all, despite only wearing a vest. And here I was freezing my arse off in a bomber and a hat. Chicago's capricious chill could never prepare me for this. He gestured back inside, where a few chairs and comforting glow beckoned nicely. I've got some tea ready. This time I even found sugar in the cupboards downstairs. I remembered actually passing the kitchen and noticing a long stringy cobweb dripping down from the center of the ceiling. Sure, I'm game. I lied, trying not to imagine the web dripping into my drink. My philosophy dictates I can't deny food at a host's house. Mostly because the idea of offending them brings me far more terror than the idea of getting food poisoning. Inside, we sank into the seats, and the outside ceased to be. Purple tendrils of chill gently rolling against the windows. Shadows beamed down from the tops of many bookshelves pressed heavily against the walls. Underneath us, reddish-brown floorboards groaned under the slightest pressure, giving the impression there was nothing but air underneath. I don't think William ever knows who originally owned the estate, and I never asked him. He just sort of settled down in it right after we first met, so he tells me, and has stayed here ever since. It was rare that I saw him outside the mansion, so this first visit was a bit more of a shock to my sensibilities. Every couple of minutes something would clatter, skitter, or creak somewhere in the ancient halls, and Will would freeze at the attention and listen for it. Something told me he wasn't concerned as much as curious. I sure as hell didn't feel the same. I'd been absent-mindedly pushing my teaspoon around and watching the pulpy bits spin around. I can tell you're uncomfortable here. Sorry about that. Really trying to make a good first impression, he spoke earnestly. There was something mildly annoying about Will's voice. I always got the impression he had something important to say, but never got around to saying it. Really, it's kind of surprising we're friends at all. But I guess even the most steadfast relationships come from shaky beginnings. We met on my campus months ago during December, after I had just gotten over a staggeringly difficult period in my life. I tried to keep away the heaviness I felt digging my nose into anatomy books and art history catalogues. In the library, I saw William watching me when he thought I wasn't looking. At some point, I walked over and demanded he cut it out, and the little shit snuck his hand out, smiled, and offered his name. He was interested in obscure history, philosophy, and the like. Could have been about my age or older. Or younger. It was hard to tell, and I couldn't even figure out his ethnicity. What the hell kind of last name is C? It's a little late for your first impressions, I chortled. But for what it's worth, I kind of like this whole spooky shtick you got going on. He smiled widely. Of course, I love it. I feel so cozy. Will's eyes narrowed at me for a second, observing me closely. We were seated quite a distance from each other, just beyond where I couldn't see his pupils clearly. I chuckled nervously, as he finally broke the contact and glanced at a bookshelf where hundreds of untouched volumes sat silently. "Do you like scary things, Jake?" he asked. "Yeah, I do. I think fear is pretty healthy when you get down to it. That little jolt in your ticker, or your gut, can do some good when something really bad comes along. That's another thing that sort of connects us. A love of horror literature. We spent many sleepless nights swapping obscure horror stories before I passed out mid-conversation. Often I would wake in the morning and message him, only to have him continue the conversation as if neither of us had slept. On that note, I don't think I've ever seen him on the PC either. Will never struck me as a modern guy. You know, we always ask why things are scary, but we never ask how things are scary, he said abruptly. I immediately thought of the meme and tried not to laugh. Knowing him, he was being totally sincere with that remark. See? Totally different personalities. How we ended up as friends is beyond me. Oh? Will nodded. As we sank deeper into our mushy chairs, he put down the teacup and splayed his fingers. Long and untouched by the sun, he sank back into the darkness of the chair, obscuring his face, and said, "That wasn't a philosophical question, Jake. There's a very real, very physical process behind the horror of things." "You mean like how a cannibal stabs and eats someone, or how the sight of a bunch of holes makes you think of bugs and stuff? And your brain says, 'Ew, I don't like that thought. I'm going to suppress that.'" He ignored my quips and jumped up to grab a book, swiping it down and landing without a sound. Swiftly, he dropped the booklet into my lap and asked me to read. As I turned the pages, I read what appeared to be a strange story about a hurricane tearing through the United States. This is a severe weather alert being broadcasted at the request of the National Weather Service. At approximately 0700 hours CST, an unusual tropical storm was located 900 miles off the east coast of the United States. The storm is unusual in that it appears to be made of a canine appendages and tissue, and is rapidly approaching inland with significant turbulence. I looked up after I was done, left with a vague sense of unease. I was no stranger to horror, but the short entry had me feeling off, as if I had been witness to a confession of sorts. "What is this?" I asked. He took the book back and put it back on the shelf. "Did this story happen?" I looked at him and scoffed. "Dude, there's no reason these things are called stories. There's a reason these things are called stories. Jeez, man, I took you for an intellectual, not a moron." "And a madman?" he retorted. That one shook me up. William was definitely out of his gourd, but not in the way you could see. It was a dangerous sort of unknown, like I don't know, an unplanned variable, an inconsistency. "Jacob," he said slowly, "this story actually happened. I might have spit out my tea, laughed and just left it there, and I should have. I should have forgot he even existed and went on with my life. But things don't always go the way we want, and due to my tendency to entertain eccentric individuals, I stayed." "Care to explain?" And so he did. All of reality is tied together by concepts that are not totally real. We simply agree upon what we mean and tie words to them. Love, life, atoms even. Some of them are fairly easy to explain with science and logic, but they don't get down to the fundamental truth of things. Not 100%. Will walked over to the window and pulled back the curtain. The orange warmth of inside and purple chill of outside pushed against each other, and for one stomach-bubbling moment, the outside seemed to win. Everything is tied down to this same blackness. Every world, every story. Movies like The Thing didn't happen. There's no Swamp Thing. And there's no Bigfoot. There's no spirits. I paused. Oh, it's him speaking. Oops. I paused, then added, "Amityville 2005 didn't happen either, I'd like to think." Words of power, friend. Words of power. Much like the abyss, they can be used to shape reality to whatever you desire. For example, did you know this mansion exists in an isolated state from the rest of the world? He stated. Come, see for yourself. I snorted. Was that supposed to be a philosophical statement? I could get behind his nonsense logic. And yet, I found myself entranced by the way he spoke, that I felt obliged to follow. As I got up to look out the window, I felt the smug pull of cognizance wash over me. I realized as I gazed over the black expanse, now pushing against the window, that there had never been a balcony to begin with. Even the cold, I thought I remembered from earlier, seemed to disappear. Instead, there was just a vague static clinging to my skin. Where's the balcony? And where the fuck are the stars? There were no celestial bodies visible either. No moon. Something in my head clicked, and I realized there never were. In fact, there never was a grass and stone path leading up to this mansion. I could only remember William giving me an address and time, and that was it. Just a few blank memories after. As I rushed to the opposite side of the room, I numbly recognized the estate was floating in a black void, and I was trapped inside. I turned towards William slowly, who was observing me through slit eyes. I got the impression he wasn't amused by my sudden suffering. Again, more so inquisitive. It confused and angered me. "Since you clearly spiked my tea with something, what stupid philosophical point are you trying to make?" was all I could muster between gritted teeth. Fight or flight was kicking in, and I briefly considered if he'd fight back if I tried punching him. He certainly didn't seem like a combative type, but then again, he also didn't seem like someone you could have easily intimidated. Someone you could easily intimidate. There was a pause before he continued. As I said before, all horror narratives are tied together. I can see these narratives laid out like pages in a book. It comes from the law of the universe. the inky strings that hold together all worlds consider fiction and non-fiction one and the same. The deeper into these stories you go, the more tenebrious the differences between our world and the world of horror become. The more horror writers become seers as opposed to fiction makers. How do you know, huh? What book could give you this knowledge? I finished. I wanted to see him crack a little, to suddenly start laughing it off as a joke. There was no way he was selling me this shit. Not while I'm high. I didn't want to end up brainwashed and hung over on the side of a road back home. Possibly touched inappropriately. I wanted this to be a massive prank. Will smiled and gestured at the bookcase behind him. All of them, Jake. I've been to all of these worlds, and I saw. My name is William C. for a reason. And as I watched, he held out his arms in self-aggrandized genuflection. Another insight wave hit me as I noticed that I never quite knew what Will's face looked like. In my mind, when we first met on that cold winter day on campus, he had simply appeared to be another student, eager to learn and interested in the same general crap I was into. But I now knew he wasn't human. As I looked, his face slid off, leaving only a black pool in the center. The pool reoriented itself into crude facsimile of a smile, with two perfectly circular wells of ink dripping onto the floor, and a thin Cheshire smile stretching across a vaguely humanoid pale head. I live in Cheshire. This is a Cheshire smile. The eyes, round and almost planar, had a dazzling static quality about them, as if they were rotating so fast you couldn't tell. This is definitely at least partially my fault, I thought, considering how many horror flicks I watched before bed the day prior. I sat down quickly, not realizing I had kicked over my teacup. It was empty. I apologize for the zealous display, he said briskly as he walked behind the seat, placing a hand on either side from behind. I forget your kind aren't used to what feels natural for me. What the fuck are you? Why are you doing this to me? I mouthed breathlessly. I was panicking, and he could tell he was quickly. I was panicking, and he could tell, because he quickly walked over to his chair and sat down, as if to put me at ease. In my mind, this thing essentially just kidnapped me, drugged me, and started preaching about nonsense, about scary stories being real. And I was in one. I'm not human, Jake. Never have been. Though I might have felt human things at some points. But I'm still trying to work all that out. How to talk normally and behave normally. I sort of have a face thing down when I try. He smiled slightly, and for a moment, I expected the seams at his lips to once split again and open like a miniature fault line. I eyed him warily. I wasn't trying to frighten you, dear friend. And I'm not lying. I need a companion. Someone I can confide in. I've been watching you for some time now, to get to understand your kind better. It gets so lonely out here, and I worry sometimes that I'll never be able to share this wealth of knowledge with anyone. And you provide me with all those weeks ago. And you proved to me all those weeks ago that you are thirsty for knowledge, the same as I am. Is that not true? I stopped my violently bouncing knee and stared where the black pools had formed. The puddle was now gone. I can take you to the edges of the universe and beyond, show you the tiniest details and grandest schemes created by gods, and have you back for dinner, if we've taken our fill of knowledge. Before me was an opportunity to try something totally new. I had no choice but to agree. I did want to see this universe in its totality. It was something I dreamed about since I could interpret my own dreams at all. He was dead serious. Despite the fact that the horrid black pools had once again been replaced with his inconspicuous male face, the outside remained submerged in total blackness and deep in my heart. I knew that this was my new reality. He had manipulated it by simply speaking. It was all real. What else can you show me? Here, come try this out. Another book was dropped into my lap, this time fairly thin. As I read the first couple of lines, it dawned on me with further unease that this book had been detailing my entire time spent here, up from the first time I met William, right to now. As he handed me the book, I looked up at him and he urged me to continue reading, nodding slightly. The words had bled onto the ink page and fallen down halfway to a thin puddle. No, not a puddle. It was a hole. As I looked deeper and deeper, I saw with inexplicable telescopic vision the mansion I was in, brick and moss and all, floating in the infinite abyss. And in the windows of the first floor I saw myself, holding a book. A book with a hole, with a mansion inside, with another me holding another book with another hole and another. I slammed it shut and put it down. I dared not look up and out of the window for fear of what I'd see. William quietly put the book down and stood by me as I put my face into my hands. The truth can be scary, friend. But that doesn't mean we have to embrace it alone. Yeah, don't mind me. Just had my worldview shattered is all. No biggie. I mumbled through my fingers. Every single bit of fiction you've watched or read is real. Filled with real people living their own lives. They're mostly mundane, with minimal differences. Sometimes they end up being horrific, anomalous, beyond normal reasoning. Would you help me explore these uncharted planes to further our mutual understanding? He stuck his hand out. I don't know if it was an attempt to apologize, or if he meant to take me, or if he meant to take it as a yes. But either way, after a little deliberation, I took it. His fingers were as cold as ice. I considered the bookcase behind us, filled to brim with stories and history. How much of it was thought to be fiction? How much of it actually happened? Did this mean I was just a story too? It made my head shudder uncontrollably to think about it. Not many people get this chance. Explore the universe. Multiverse. I'd be an idiot not to take it, I finally. William nodded, betraying some grimness in his expression. Then that's as good an answer as any. I try to make our journeys as safe and educational as possible. There's a lot to be wary of in this place. Do not treat this like a school trip. At this, he smiled slightly. As we both looked down at the paperback he handed me previously, I flipped to the page with the hole. It was still there, but with text that matched. With text to match the most recent events. I swallowed the hairy knot growing in my throat. Over the last months, we took the precautions needed to enter this new reality William spoke of. This supposed abyss of ideas. I can't speak of all the rules and dangers of the abyss and how it shapes the world. My world. It's simply too much to recollect right now. My life is now being dictated by paper and pen instead of schoolwork. Not that I'm necessarily complaining. The things Will has shown me as a prelude of what's to come are so mind-bendingly terrible and vast, I sometimes imagine only madmen and scientists with equally unshakable resolve would be able to take it at face value without devolving into a sobbing mess. Can't say I'm faring any better, though. Life just isn't the same as it used to be since I met him. I get the feeling that no matter how hard I try to run, no matter how much of the truth I try to redact, or joke about, or draw to cope, the whole will be there in that flimsy paperback until it dots the end of my story. That was the estate Prelude, as recorded within the estate. Who's the author? William C. The author is William C. Thank you to Lily LaRue. Really nice to see this process in action. Well, I made drastically less errors than I usually do, because most of the time, I'm awful. I think I get into my really big A-game zone, make sure I'm in the right mood, the right frame of mind, so that I can narrate properly when I do the streams. Even then, I still make plenty of errors. I'm gonna need more of this. Love all the stories, man. Thank you very much. Gonna turn this music off and go to a different one. Alright, so we haven't had any story suggestions in the chat in terms of like a super chat donation. But the next person to give me a story that I like the sound of, I might just narrate it. That was so fluid, thank you. Oh, you know, it takes me ages to do these things sometimes. Like, when there's a ton of different characters, that is when it's hard. Like, for serious, that was really lucky, because this was just 2 different characters, so it was easy enough to switch between the 2. When it's like 5 or 6, I'm like, what was that guy's voice like? What accent can I do for him? Yeah, it can be difficult at times. You missed my bestiary videos. I'm sorry. It's the same thing as the Creepypasta Wiki, what I used to do. I used to just read off the page, and that's all I would do for that. And for some reason, people didn't like that. Well, people liked it, but for some reason, I feel, actually, not other people, I myself feel I'm being lazy when it comes to that specifically. Because I used to just grab pictures off the internet, and that's not okay. That's someone's work that they could possibly not want me to use. So, in the future, if I am to do bestiaries again, it's probably just going to be 1 picture in the background, and I'll have to, like, gather the information myself and retype it out. Channel Jose. Oh, you want me to channel Jose? Anytime I try and do something. So, you know, it's really hard to suddenly just start talking as a specific character, because, you know, it ain't so easy being a different person all of a sudden. But I'm going to try and do my best. I can't even, you know, it's been a while since I've done Jose. I hope this is what he sounds like. This could be someone else, for all I know. My brain, that's Louis. That is Louis. Louis kind of, yeah, he's more higher pitch. Yeah, Louis higher pitch. So, I suppose, what's he sound like again? I'm a wraith who loves horror media of all sorts. It's super hard on demand. Because then when I do that one, that sounded a lot more like Chris. Hold it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to my own video. Okay, what's he sound like again?
I rhymed for a few days. I had burned through what little savings I had and was getting...
Actually believe me? Why?
You actually believe me?
Because my job revolves around weird stuff like that.
You actually believe me? Why?
Causing the wheel to turn the wrong way with it.
Whoa, that's crazy. You can really...
Loud as she got in and started the SUV.
Yeah, okay, so it's just kind of like lower. Anyway. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't tell you a lick of difference between New York and Boston for me because I'm British. I'm not educated on these things, kind of like you are. Yeah, it's definitely a task switching on a whim. Switching voices whilst narrating is more like you got characters at the ready. Yeah, it's a lot easier. You always go back to the Raven? I've done the Raven so many times. I'm going to have to skip that one for today. I just do it so many times. Oh, I thought you meant for, like, reading right now. Do I listen to my own narrations? Only extremely rarely. Like, there was a story I did recently that was on Twitter that I linked, actually, on a post where I narrated something for someone else, and it didn't upload to my channel. It uploaded to their podcast. It is the oh my god, the Redwood Journal. Oh my god, how can I forget this? I'll just show you. Actually, I'm just gonna make sure nothing naughty appears. I've got friends who like some weird shit. Also, look, Daniel Radcliffe, isn't that funny? Anyway, I'll show you real quick. In the meantime, feel free. Oh, thanks, Siri. Where we'll go, blah, blah. It's hard finding something sometimes. That's not it. People talking about the weather. Here we go. Redwood Bureau. This is what I narrated, and I really love the story. It's fantastic. So the Redwood Bureau is hosted by Joshua Tomar, which is he's a really nice guy from what I've seen. He's a fantastic voice actor, and I really like this guy. He's such a wholesome human being. He also streams, so check him out. He plays this character who's like an agent who's investigating these creatures. And my story, the one I narrated here, was my character's retelling of his encounter with the Mimic. It was really fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, Darkness Prevails. Darkness Prevails is a cool guy. I like working with this bro. I was going to say boy. He's not a boy, he's a man. Also, Darkness Prevails loves werewolves too. Look at that. That does werewolves justice. Look how huge that guy is. That's a werewolf. Anyway, if you guys want to check that out, I've made a post about it. You can follow me on Twitter, and it'll also be there, or Darkness Prevails. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And the level and quality of editing they've put into this is très bon. Maravilloso. Wait, that's Spanish. Maravilloso. Yeah, everyone who worked on that project was fantastic. Everyone who works on the Redwood Bureau is super talented. Have you ever read the Demon Roommate That Loves Fried Chicken? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. So, what should we read next, everybody? They could go into the next one of this series. But I don't want them to be crazy long. That's not crazy long, but at the same time, I would like to go to a different type instead of following this chain of events. Does that make sense? The world is already so wonderfully developed. You have at least season or two. I do love the Cyber world. Cyber world? Sounds like Cyber world. Oh, Mo, if you want, you can plug the comic in here, which looks really, really cool. Someone has actually taken it upon themselves to draw a comic of I Drive for Cerber. An SCP. The Telltale Heart? Perhaps. Something with Mr. Outlaw. So I want to avoid doing anything from Reddit. Just because I need their permission first. Whereas on the Creepypasta Wiki, I don't necessarily have to. Unless you guys yourself have uploaded a story. And you'll give me permission yourself. Even with the charity stream, we have to be careful. I'm not a Genshin Impact fan. Right. Retirement. You got my permission. Hey, Josh, welcome. If you've been talking in the chat, this is my first time seeing you. Velkommen, velkommen. Retirement. Retirement. Oh no. You guys are seeing my, well, one of my accounts. Why did I just type in retirement? I'm so stupid. Retirement. Gosh. Hopefully that finds it. Nope. I'm real smart, me. I'm real smart. Where did I put that in? Nope, I just get something about a news podcast. Neat. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm opening and closing. Scott? So, you have a favorite worst first character storyline to narrate? Favorite worst first character? That's tough. Favorite worst first character? Who did... I remember someone came up and I was like, oh, this is a really fun character. I really, really like them just immediately. Who was it? I mean, I really like Tegan because Tegan is very cute. And Tegan has a very similar accent to how you say the what is her name again? Oh my god, my brain is just swimming. Well, I really like Tegan. I do have a Discord, Nature's Temper Discord. It's linked in the description of all of my videos. Oh, wait, what's by? Author's name. The Demon Fried Chicken. Sorry, I'm getting a bit confused. Oh, my brain. Oh my god, it's almost 9. I need to get on with the next story, whether or not it's something we can all agree on. I saw the word trees, so I guess I'll do this one. One of your better stories. I do have a Discord. I barely go in it myself, though. Guilty. Sorry about that. I'm just not much of a Discord guy. Sometimes I go on there to talk to my D&D group, but most of the time I just never remember to check it. And with this new job, and just with me being a self-centered arsehole, I guess, I just find it hard to remember to check things on most stuff. Right, okay. Yes, Sooty, I love you too. You are a nightmare. This cat's like 16, 17, or 18. I lost track a while ago. He smells so good. Careful, baby girl. This story... Oh, there's no music. This story needs music. How about a nightmare for all our dreams? Hopefully this gets picked up by the thing. Influenza X by the anonymous Crouton. Trees everywhere. That's what I see every time I relax. Same, dude. The beauty of nature envelops my soul every time. I never worry myself with trivial matters like finance or politics. Every time someone brings them up in a discussion, I just walk away and find my happy place. Breathe in. Breathe out. A single drop of water can cause the largest ripples in a pond, just as any negative emotion can spread like a disease through the scared waters of our consciousness. That's why I purge every bad thought, every horrid idea, every negative emotion from my hallowed mind. My brain is a temple for my soul, and I have to keep it clean. I'm a park cleaner named Adrian Albescu. My job is simple. I clean. Whether it be metaphysical or tangible, I clean. I allow my senses to guide me to the filth that those swines we call humans leave behind in these sacred grounds. I'm getting negative thoughts again. I had no time for complaining over the continuous plummet that humanity has been suffering. I had a park to clean. As I cleaned the scraps left by my naughty children and the swill of neglectful adults, I found myself getting into a perfect rhythm. Pick, throw, repeat. Pick, throw, repeat. I tidied the park to the harmonious flow of nature's musical talent. Sorry, it's hard to get comfy. As I picked the last bit of muck in the park, I felt the warmth of the pure dusk sun falling below the horizon. It was time to head home. That's when things went wrong. While I was heading home that day, I felt something was amiss. I peered around my shoulders. The full moon painted the world below in a soft, luminescent glow. Just then I felt a strange sensation, almost like nature was calling me. I felt attracted towards the Hoya Buckseau forest. I had no choice but to see why I felt drawn there. The foliage blocked the moonlight's glow further down, but there was just enough light for me to see where I was going. That's when I saw the mist. The mist had I can't even think about it right now. Uncanny glow to it. It painted the forest in an eerie spectral picture. As I walked further through the brush, I felt an unexplainable tingling sensation in my throat. I remembered the stories about this place, about people who've never returned. I was getting too nervous. Better. Further I went, the further lost I became. I couldn't tell where my house was through all the damned mist. I've lost my place. There was something wrong with it. I could tell that. I couldn't tell what, but I knew something was dreadfully wrong. The woodland declined further into darkness. With every minute that passed, I could barely see my hand in front of my face. As I finally believed all hope was lost, a small light shone within the forest. Finally, a way out. I hoisted myself up and clawed my way into light. As it grew and swelled more and more, as As I was halfway there, however, I heard a siren singing out in the darkness. Dim at first, it grew louder and more thunderous, until it swelled to an almost deafening shriek. My eyes couldn't fathom what they were seeing. I was standing in the middle of what could only be described as a nuclear fallout. The mist still tugged at my lungs. I read the sign in front of the tattered wasteland around me. Romanian Disease Research Facility B. They must have had to bomb the place. But why? The mist seemed to surround the place. It was radioactive or something. Fearing the worst, I dashed back to town through the forest. I hoped that I wouldn't get any radiation from that. The concrete was tapping beneath my feet with every step. Every slow step I made, I found it harder to breathe. It was almost like a cork was shoved down my throat. I felt it getting harder to think, harder to see. I asked everyone around me what was going on, where that fallout zone had come from, and why it didn't spread that far. "Please, you have to help me. I saw a fallout zone in the forest. Please. Please help." No one listened. Vision getting darker, lungs getting heavier, actions getting increasingly lethargic. The last thing was the police officer getting on the phone in a panic, like it was an emergency. A hospital. That's where I was. I must have blacked out, because I had a breathing tube attached to my face and IVs attached to my arm. We might have to run more tests. Who knows what else this virus can do? I heard someone say behind a muffled filter. Virus? What virus? I tried to look around, see my surroundings. But I couldn't get up. My body wouldn't move. A kind and beautiful young lady wearing a medical mask stepped in, who I could only guess was the nurse. "Hi there, patient zero. I see you're awake. Don't worry, I'm going to run some quick tests, to further assess your condition and figure out what's making you sick, okay?" Patient zero? My name is Adrian. Why are you calling me patient zero? She ran a blood test, a breathing test, and a neurological scan, all in order to help figure out more about this illness I apparently had. She was performing these tests. I noticed the file on my desk. It read Influenza-esque. What, the flu? The flu isn't that bad. Why would a doctor be testing for this version of the flu? Why am I patient zero? Then I realized it. The mist. The mutation of the flu that spread through the forest like a mist. My face turned pale as I realized now what patient zero meant. More people arrived. They were all people I talked to before my blackout. The officer, my neighbors, my friends. I had infected them all. I could feel a faint spell taking me over. I finally drifted away, closing my eyes as my mind returned to the images of my friends, my peers, my people, all taken over by this illness I brought to them in my own foolishness. As my final breath was taken, I felt a strange sensation at the back of my spine, almost like a tickle. I woke up in the same hospital. The lights were dimmed to an almost pitch-black radiance as I sat up. The walls were awfully dirty and tainted. Wait, I sat up. My binds were gone. The IVs were out. Come to think of it, I could breathe just fine, and I didn't have any scars from the IV at all. Was it all just a dream? Was I in heaven? The midday luminescence of the glass window was scarcely visible through the enclosed blinds, denying them any entry. The heart monitor, as expected, was only droning along, drawn out, beep, in response to the null input of the electrodes that laid limp on the side of the stand. As I was trying to find a light to turn on, something occurred to me. Why hadn't the nurse come back to check on me? The monitor was tracked remotely by the hospital staff, so why didn't any of them come to check my body? Come to think of it, where was everybody? I decided to investigate, hoping that something terrible hadn't happened. The door handle was covered with rust and sweat. It didn't seem like it was fresh either. How long had I been out? Days? Weeks? Months? Years? As the door extended into the dark void of the hallway that lay before me, I realized something was wrong. Horribly wrong. The darkness was choking me. I couldn't see a damn thing. As I fumbled my way through the dark hallway, I felt my foot kick something. As I bent down to grab it, my face blanched. It was a pistol. An oozing liquid was squelching and squeezing in my hands as I picked it up. Then, out of nowhere, I licked the liquid. It was blood. And it tasted great. What the hell? Why was I acting like this? I just licked human blood. Stop! I was getting too emotional. I need to calm down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Better. I shook those thoughts out of my head and pressed on into the darkness. As I felt the structure of the pistol, I noticed that the tactical light strapped to it. What luck. I quickly turned it on and continued to press forward. Even with the light, the end of the hallway was impossible to see. The light was apparently only designed for spotting targets. As I looked around, I noticed streaks of blood along the walls. The mist carved intricate patterns onto the wall with an almost snake-like movement. No people anywhere. No sign of life. No matter how hard I looked or which room I checked, I couldn't find anyone. Finally, it felt as if the end of the hallway was there. The elevator at the end of it glowing with the faint glow of the elevator lights on the other side of the door. Finally, I could get out of there and get some help. Suddenly, the door crashed open with a growl and a massive inky black tentacle-ridden creature thrusting its way into the quiet hallway, its gaping jaws and rows of teeth clearly visible even from the few feet I was standing. I quickly raised my pistol, the light allowing me to identify it as a magnum. I prayed to the Lord Almighty, if there was one, to let the bullets in this gun, to let there be bullets in this gun. I let a shot loose. The body of a dead police officer lay before me. The hallway was ridden with cadavers of patients of this hospital. The staff, everyone. The destruction I brought about. The destruction it brought about. It was so beautiful. Why was I thinking these thoughts? These weren't my thoughts. I wasn't a harmful person. What the hell is going on? What the hell is wrong with me? This isn't me. Just as quickly as it appeared, the light from the hallway dissipated, leaving me to fend off the demon in my mind. It's so dark now, I can't breathe. I have to keep trying. I'm a cleaner, I can fight this. It's just like any other grime. Just have to take a few deep breaths and purge my mind of this vile illness. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. That was Influenza X by the Anonymous Crouton. Hey guys, welcome to those who have just joined. Welcome Celtic, thank you for the $5 donation. Hey Scott, thanks for being awesome as usual. You're very, very welcome. Yes, if anyone else has a story from this Reddit to narrate, please give it to me right now. I will not wait. Go now. The dramatic death rattle. I'm glad you liked it. Oh, my tonsils are swollen. Oh, that hurts. Never get hay fever, guys. It's awful. Awful. Should we read a simple Corey? It's pretty short. I'm going to read a simple Corey. In the meantime, remember guys, if you have a story to narrate, the best way to get it narrated is to send a super chat. And the highest donation gets read first, obviously. But all of... Ow! all of them get read anyway. So send that link, or just send it in the chat. First person to send it gets a kiss on the camera. I'll be like going... Mwah. Oh. Thank you, Atheistic Wolf. Zar, what is Zar? Well, thank you very much, regardless of me not being worldly enough to... No. Anyway, thank you so much for the donation. You heard your name? Nice one. Oh, I said curry, not Corey. They sound very similar. A simple Corey. Yes, if you don't know what the super chat function is, it's just a little $sign at the bottom. We are trying to raise money for a wonderful charity called Rewilding Britain. And I know most of you are not from Britain here, but all our worldly ecosystems are interconnected, and rewilding is a fantastic way to conserve the life we have in it. Anyway, my face is itchy, just to let you know. So this story is entitled A Simple Curry by Two Away. That's how you pronounce it. There are 3 things, and 3 things only, that can lift the pain of mortality and ease the ravages of time, said the spider. These things are wine, women, and song. Corey's nice too, pointed out Fat Charlie. Neil Gaiman and Nancy Boys. Oh, I need to read that. And don't forget to hit the like button. You don't have to, it's a stream. I don't know if that helps at all. The world is a beautiful place. A stew of immeasurable number of things coming together in symbiosis. Some things, of course, don't mesh well with everything. In its own way, the world itself is a curry. What is a curry if not an amalgamation, after all? Vegetables, fruits, nuts, spices, cheese, broths, even meat. Perhaps the concept of curry expands far beyond the bowl. I often consider. Others, I'm sure, have felt the same way. I turn my eye to the salty, briny, bubbling liquid. An ocean to some, but a broth to me. There's something so holistic about it. Everything comes together. Separate articles that may have purpose on their own may give life, but together they expand into something truly transcendental. Take hunger, for example. Or dunga, for example. A method of adding flavored curry. Through placing a dish of burning charcoal in the center of a brewing concoction, then covering it, one may add a smoky decadence to their cuisine. What truly brilliant and abstract way to add that masterful zing. I suppose what I'm doing involves dunga of its own. In the grand bowl of curry we call planet Earth, sometimes we need a little extra zing. Something to shake things up and bring a little heat. That's where I, the chef, come in. Most of my life, if we can call it that, I have been an abstract observer. While I have had my fair share of interactions with the world and its diverse inhabitants, lately I have kept humanity at arm's length. In this incarnation, I have not been the destroyer of evil, or patron of saints, or patron of arts. Perhaps, like all else, that too will change. I've been told that my beliefs are extreme and ridiculous, that I'm little more than an eco-terrorist. But none of it makes sense. I'm not looking to save the rainforests, and I'm certainly not looking to reduce carbon emissions. In fact, they're humanity's poor attempts at Dunga itself. On the contrary, I believe that humanity as a whole is trying to do exactly what I'm doing. They're just doing it poorly. Oh, believe me, I understand the concept of low and slow. Nothing quite builds flavor and homogenizes the nuances of a dish quite like a nice, gentle simmer. However, there is a distinct difference between slow cooking and keep warm. Which brings me back to the need to add a little zing. Collecting the required ingredients has been painstaking and lifelong challenge. At the ripe age of 82, I've finally managed to get every last piece of the recipe. It's both heartwarming and sorrowing to know that I won't be around to receive compliments or criticism on my life work. Perhaps no one will. Anyone who would chance upon me would find themselves confused, to be sure. A lone man, on the Bay of Bengal, mastering a dish that no one will taste, to serve to a starving world. Not that it's likely, but perhaps someone should be so lucky as to bear witness to such a manifestation of godhood in the works, to see the worldly mind quenched of its longing and suffering. But I digress. Time wouldn't normally be an issue, but I found myself in the twilight of my life. I must keep focus. Reflecting on my checklist, I can't help but feel a sense of pride. Marinate the meat. Simmer the veg, season the broth. Those are completed. Mixed all together, begin the dunga and serve. Those are the next steps. There's a stinging burn in my sinuses as I mix the ingredients. The spices are really coming through. The slow burn fills my lungs. I don't have much time left. But I really don't need much for the finishing touches anyhow. The whole world will feed from my curry. Everyone will be blown away. Nothing of this magnitude has ever been conceived by God or man. Tyrants want to remake the world in their image, but I am no tyrant. I want to shape this world into the perfect symbiosis. The homogeneous ambiguity and immeasurable number of things, all melted together in one smoking pot. I light the fuse, place the dish in the pot, and inhale the bittersweet, acrid aroma of my magnum opus, the last scent I'll ever smell, as it's released on the world. Svandista. Perfection. I don't get it. I assume he means a bomb, right? He's just going to try and kill as many people. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm stupid. Thank you, Elizabeth Black, for the $20. Thank you so much. I don't know why it didn't let you say ass in my chat. I don't mind people saying ass or arse. Hey, Joshua Josephson. You're a literal JoJo. Do you know that? That's awesome. I wish I was called JoJo. God damn it. Anyway, that's my tip. Get yourself something nice. The simple spirits and pure souls appreciate your efforts, but they said they already are working on the human problem. Yes, Cerber Feast and Bull's Heart are my favorites. Corey Walton sounds like he's making something that turns into a very toxic gas. Ah. Svandista. What language is this from? I'm going to look that up. Is that Urdu? Svandista. Tell me the language. Did I pronounce it right at least?
Swadishta.
What? It's too fast.
Swadisht.
Svadishta. Ah, the Svadishta. Pleasant tasting. Okay, okay. Hindi. Hindi, thank you. That's what the language was. What did I say it was? Urdu? I'm stupid. I'm an idiot. I should not ever guess. Okay. If no one has a suggestion. Yeah, if no one has a suggestion to read, I will keep going along these and having a look. Oh, this one's a really quick one. Fairly quick. But we like a variety, don't we, guys? Good variety of things to read. This is also by Two Away. Who's behind me? That's David Attenborough, that. Sorry. Hair in my face. This story is titled Emmett the Slasher. Our youths are easily influenced. They're susceptible to the opinions of their parents, the media, and most especially their peers. Emmett was different. He was undeniably gullible, the kind of kid who believed any story you told him, even in the face of evidence to the contrary, just because you told him. Emmett was particularly vulnerable to any first source of information, as if once an idea had manifested in his moldable adolescent brain, it couldn't be altered or plucked out. When Emmett was 7 years old, he stuck a twig down his urethra simply because Alicia, the prettiest girl in the school, told him to. She said she'd kiss him if he did it. She didn't. At 10, his mother took away his motocross racing game. He'd been throwing temper tantrums over Bobby Big Dog Malone, cutting him off on the same turn every lap. Don't hiss at the door, you silly girl. Come on, get out of here. I'm reading here. When he asked for the game back later, his mother had told him she'd lost it. He believed her when she said it. Emmett's father always tried to instill critical thought in him. Unfortunately, he focused on concepts that were a little too abstract for simple young Emmett. The issue of injustice, conspiracy theories, and their validity, and political philosophy were out of Emmett's grasp. Still, Emmett trusted it was all true. At the age of 12, Emmett began to realize his true calling. He stumbled across stories of killers and deviants, murderers and monsters, all too fantastical to be true. Yet, still, poor Emmett believed. Why would someone say it if it wasn't... Why would someone say it if it wasn't true? He screamed through a reddened, tear-streaked visage. Not everything you see on the internet's true, Emmett. You can't believe everything you hear. His mom retorted with equal parts frustration and concern. Emmett had been keeping a rat he'd caught outside, oh no, in his closet. He'd intended to use it for a ritual he'd read about online. He was very forthcoming about the details when his mother screamed at the sight of the poor innocent rodent. Emmett's father released the rat a few blocks from their home later that day. Fucking Chad. Their dad is a Chad, and so is the mom. It wasn't until just before the 13th birthday of Emmett that he began falling in with a community of like-minded and impressionable youths online. Many of them encouraged Emmett in his belief that the fictional bad guys were not only real, but to be idolized. He had begun to romanticize such ideas as murder and abuse. For the first time in Emmett's simple, honest life, he began to really lie. He talked about how he was abused, physically, mentally, sexually. His creative juices began to flow, regarding how terrible things had been at the hands of his parents. According to Emmett, his schoolmates would torture him whilst the teachers laughed. He made up a little story about how one of his classes were no longer devoted to mathematics, but to exploiting and disfiguring his body. Truth be told, Emmett's stories and details were very compelling. Many of his online peers began to root for him, comparing his likeness to the origin stories of the monsters they all obsessed over. Some even went so far as to say he would be justified in doing away with his abusers. Emmett the Slasher, they called him. As usual, Emmett fell for it. Emmett began buying into his own lies, retold in the words of others, building a false yet terrible existence in a bleak world that he was never truly part of. He began brooding, finding every way to twist the situation into him being some kind of grim victim. One day when Emmett came home from school, threw his backpack into the hallway, tore off his coat, and stormed into his room, stopping briefly in the kitchen. Emmett's parents, who were in the living room, began to take notice of his seclusion. He was always a bit of a loner, but he'd become more withdrawn than ever as of late. After a brief discussion with his father, Emmett's mother decided to check in on him. She had approached his room and knocked on the door. "Emmett, honey, can we have a little chat?" No response. She gently twisted the door handle and edged the door open cautiously. "Emmett?" Her words fell to a pause, followed shortly after by a scream that could be heard throughout the neighborhood. Emmett, kitchen knife in hand, was struggling to mutilate himself. He was determined, but a big part of him was still scared. So far, the damage he'd caused was only skin deep. As his mother stood before him in an abject horror, she burst into tears. She ran forward to hold her poor baby boy. "We'll get you help, sweetie. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be..." Once more, her words ceased. This time from a physical malady, rather than emotional. "I'm gonna be famous, Mom. Everyone will know who I am," he whispered. He whispered as his mother fell to the floor, gasping and gurgling. The thin slash across her upper chest began to slowly burst further open. Everything felt very different to Emmett than he had imagined it would. The sounds of his mother desperately clinging to life were profoundly disturbing, but he told himself that he needed to be steadfast. Emmett was standing at the side of the doorway when his father burst in, hollering after his mother. "Emmett, what happened? Call 911! He screamed through the tears as he cradled his wife in his arms, ignorant to the malicious culpability of his son. Emmett crept from behind and stabbed his father in the back, leaving the knife inside as he slowly backed away from the grisly scene. Emmett's father froze in confusion before trying to swat the knife that was buried in his back. He slowly released his wife, allowing her twitching body to gently hit the floor. He then keeled over beside his dying love. Emmett continued to persuade himself that what he had done was the right thing, that these people were responsible for his shell of an existence, that the fresh wounds he bore would turn into scars, to proof of their abuse. But for the first time in his life, Emmett did not truly believe. Donation goal? I'd like to at least get over 100 quid. 100 quid. So British. At least over 100. Right now we're at £87, which I think that's over $100, which is awesome. So thank you all for everyone who's donated thus far. But yeah, I'm gonna keep streaming as long as I can to get as much as I can for this wonderful, wonderful organization, charity. That was Emmett the Slasher by Two Away. Oh, speaking of, thanks NT, get Yuki a treat on me. Dank and Spank, thank you very much. You have a great name, Dank and Spank. I'm gonna do another goal here. Another donation thing. So, anyone who donates let's say $5 or above can give me an accent or voice to do to narrate the next story, regardless of what story it is. Because why the hell not? That sounds torturous, swear to God. But nothing that could be construed as racist or offensive, please. Remember, this is for this is for charity. Hopefully something I can do, but you know, it's your money. So I'm just gonna wait for a little bit till the stream catches up, and if anyone's interested in donating that. Because it's a good little bit of fun, isn't it? Imagine me doing an entire story in an accent I can't do, like Welsh. What was I gonna say? Atheismo as my witness. One day I'm going to convince him to release the version of the scene where Jose meets Sobek, where I recorded Kronk's voice. Oh yeah, I can't do Kronk. Every time I try, I just sound right. Yeah. Oh. Borg voice. Oh, thank you again, Atheistic Wolf. Wolf? No way, Austin. Are you kidding me? So, I don't know how much 70 ZAR is. I don't think that's $5. I think that's around... Oh, did I say $5? I did, didn't I? I meant £5. But you know what? That's fine. I know it's not £5, but it's probably $5. Because I was just kind of adding it up in my head. Oh my god, Elizabeth Black! Thank you so much for the $50! Holy crap, yeah, we've cracked into that. Okay, right. South African and Elmo we have. Gonna put those there. And I'm going to find a story to narrate in that. Nothing too crazy long, because I want to get both of those done. Elizabeth, if you have anything to suggest, please put that forth. Oh, Dankenspec, you heard a Russian accent. I can do that as well. I can do that. Okay. Nothing too crazy long, because... Oh my god, Elmo, are you serious, man? No. Okay, I'll let you choose another one, because Jamaican can be considered offensive. There's one of the accents I can't do. I'm sorry. So sorry. Absolute unit, absolutely. But thank you very much, Econif, for the $5. Anyway, I'm gonna keep trying to find story. Medical waste. Is this 2 away? Oh, okay. This will be South Africa. Unless you're comfortable with me doing the Jamaican one for a really short story, because maybe that I can... No, it's still offensive. I feel like it's offensive. Oh. So, okay. I'll go by order. Technically, I think that's a request from Danken Spank. Is it? Okay. Right, okay. You know what? I kind of want to do Elmo first because Elmo's going to be the hardest to keep up. Okay, I'll do Elmo first, but everyone's going to get theirs done. But we're going to put on hold for now. Fuck, this is going to be hard. I am not good at doing Elmo, so just before we get into it... Ow, Sooty, stop. Study, move. No, 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 no. You're scratching me. Medical Waste. By Razor Stories.
I know what I saw. You cannot tell me otherwise. I feel them crawling up my skin. Insane? I wish. I'm forced to watch these creatures plague me. I can barely move. I've been told it was a car crash. I've been told I'm being delusional. It's just a reaction to the drugs.
This is so apt. This is so apt.
I can tell they're lying. I'm not as stupid as they would like to think. I pick up a syringe from the medical waste bin. I asked about the stuff. Some sort of toxic chemical. It is painful, but it will do. Inside the other room, the family is screaming, wailing, pounding on the floor. It's been locked from the inside. Now they must watch, helpless, as the father of the family takes his own life. It was bad enough to see that horror, but worse was that what they found after the door finally was broken open. It was a simple sentence, but chill-inducing all the same. I should like to be cremated. It will keep them out. I do not know what them meant, nor do I care. I'm in the emergency room. A cruel jest has been performed. I am in the very same bed where my husband, the love of my life, died. Call it PTSD, call it whatever you like, but I cannot stay here. Not just this room, but also this mortal plane. I open my eyes. That is when I notice it. The needle.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
It is mocking me. A constant reminder of my fate, of my true love. My withered feet tap on the tile. I refuse to eat. It's been that way for almost a month. I walk towards the needle. Still has the odd green fluid that was injected into my husband. As if it were never used. The only reminder of the trauma inside my mind. I rip it from the thin plastic it was wrapped in. I rejoin you, John. I am at peace.
Okay, who decided on that? Who decided on that? I was better than I expected. I'll give myself that. I was better than I expected I would be. Not the best, but better than nothing. Thank you very much, German Clint. German. Oh, right. German CL17 muffin. Okay, next up is South African. Let's see, is this a short? No, it's really, really long. Hounds of God is too long. Funny bunnies? I mean, that's kind of short. How long is it? How long is it take this guy? Oh, 10 minutes? Okay, that's not as short as I thought it'd be. Yeah, okay, never mind. Curling files, dripping ink. This one looks short. Yeah, that's short enough. Or Russian. Dripping ink. You're very welcome. If anyone else wants to make a donation, feel free. But I'm gonna get down to these ones first. God, maybe I need to find a shorter one for South Africa, because I'm so shit at it. Dripping Ink by the Anonymous Crouton. He stared at the wall. I'm gonna make myself laugh with how shy I am. He stared at the wall with a look of pure exhaustion. How did I get myself into this? He asked, pleading for an answer, but no answer came. He sighed and glanced at the blank paper in front of him. With a pang in his heart, he picked up his pen and began to write. He wrote about flowing skies, mellow meadows. He wrote about running rivers and white water rapids. He wrote about the beauty of the world. And then he wrote about something more personal. With a start, Quentin woke up. Looking around his room, he saw only pitch black. Dad? Mum? The boy asked, the feeling of dread bubbling from deep within his throat. Mum, Dad, it's scary here. Where are you? I can't put the same emotion into things when I'm doing such a hard accent. He got up from his bed and found That's no longer sounding anything like it. He got up from his bed and found... God, this is so bad, man. Ooh. It's not as good as Elmo, right? I was better at Elmo than this. Got up from his bed and found a very welcoming sight. I've just slipped into something else. I think I'm going to get to this paragraph. Because it's around the same length. No, it's not. Okay. I gotta be fair. He saw what appeared to be blood on the walls of the hallway. He trekked slowly down the hallway, the trembling from his legs spreading like a plague to the rest of his body. The hallway felt longer than usual. The shadows coming from the green shrine of his shoes cast monsters onto the wall, each one looking ready to tear into the Quentin's flesh at any second. As he slowly walked onward, he found his courage draining faster than his bladder. More blood. It was oozing from the walls, dripping and dripping. The sound enough to drive a man insane. As the floorboards creaked with every pitter-patter of his footsteps, he thought he heard a man crying. However, this crying sounded familiar. After getting closer to the origin of the noise, the shadows getting louder and louder as they laughed at the boy's terrible fate, he figured out who was crying. With a sudden burst of strength, Quentin rammed the door open and found his father inside the room. I'm going to continue here, but since that was roughly the same length as the last story, I'm going to continue in the Russian accent, or as best as I can do. Quentin looked at his father and saw a different man. His eyes were that of a man in conflict with his emotions, and blood was all over his shirt. He seemed to be in the middle of both crying and laughing. Quentin could feel the trembling growing between his legs. This was really scaring him. The lamplight, while providing a temporary reprieve from the dark corner, only served to light the room in a menacing way, a way that just didn't feel safe. Quentin looked around the room and found strange symbols, strange markings all over the walls. All of them looked like they resembled beasts ready to devour Quentin the minute he got too close. He was just about to leave the room to look for his mom, until he looked on the ground. There, he found her. Oh God, what a terrible sight it was. There were giant cuts all over her and a massive gash in her chest. Her face was mutilated to the point where he could barely recognize her. He didn't even think it was his mom at first. As he glanced at his father, he noticed a giant serrated knife in his hand, with blood all over. Quentin's father now seemed less like his father and more like a hungry giant looming over a small human snack. Quentin fell to the ground, not able to keep up and get up and run away, not able to escape, even though he urged his legs to desperately get away. Even though he tried to believe what he saw was nothing. It was there that Quentin felt a new kind of fear. The kind of fear that ruins the strong-willed, the iron-resolved, and, worst of all, the naive young child. He wanted to believe with every little bit of his heart that his father wouldn't do this. That he couldn't have. But even Quentin knew that couldn't be possible. Daddy, why did you hurt Mommy? He asked, voice trembling and his eyes on the verge of tears. Daddy, please tell me everything's going to be okay. He got the opposite response. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I can't. I'm sorry, Ekenef. I'm not going to do a Jamaican accent. Please suggest something else in the chat and I will do that instead. His father mumbled. Ever since you are here to see this, I have nothing left. With that, he turned to his son, his knife grinning a sinister smile in an eerie dim lighting of the room. I'm sorry, Quentin. Please forgive me. The man put the pen down and examined his page. I feel like the ending there was a little lacking, he thought, looking at the two mutilated corpses of his friend at the corner of the room. With a little sigh, he aimed his pen at his throat. Time to make an ending a little better, he said shakily, and then thrust the pen. As the house drew its final breath, and the light slowly started to dim out, the sounds of the dripping ink never stopped. It dripped over and over and over, until silence was all that remained. Unseen. Right, okay. I did 2 of them there. I'm gonna look for Ekenef in the chat. Make sure he hasn't... If he said anything. Ekenef. Ekenef. Come on, man. I ain't doing Jamaican. Don't make me do Jamaican. Gollum on helium. The Terminator's voice? Really? Oh my god. It just jumped. Oh, I need to thank people. Thank you very much, Dean Morgan. 4-shot Hep's voice. Hephaestus. How does Hephaestus sound again? Thank you so much for the laugh, Scott. Thank you so much for the laugh. And Austin. Have to go, but keep up the goodness. Will do. Thank you so much. I can't see another one from Ekenef. He hasn't talked in the chat or anything. The normal... Oh, there we go. There you are, Ekenef. Oh, how about digital... I can do digital assistant. Yeah, I'll do digital assistant. Okay, I need to find a short story. Since these are really tough accents, they're only going to be the short stories. Oh, I know. Here we go. Night Mother. In Charlotte. No. Digital. I was gonna do this in Charlotte, but I don't think I can maintain that long. So, digital assistants nowadays kind of sound like, "Hey, how's it going?" Actually, let's look up one real quick. Also, let's close some of these tabs so my computer doesn't just randomly crash. Oh, I should have kept that one. Digital assistant voice.
A consumer watchdog.
Oh, shut up. What's she?
How does Sam sound like?
She sounds like a real human.
Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 1:24.
Alexa.
Okay. Okay. In Charlotte, North Carolina, there is a dinner. There is a diner. The sign on the door says it is closed, but the door will be unlocked. You can walk inside if you like, but know if you do, you cannot leave until the task is complete. Inside, it will be too dark to distinguish any details in the room, regardless of time. Walk forward, do not turn left or right. The distance you walk varies, but it is always longer than the building will physically allow. Eventually, you will reach a stairway. You have reached your destination. You will know this because a dim light will shine at the bottom of the stairwell. Before you descend, speak these words. I've come to make a deal with the Midnight Mother. The Night Mother. The Night Mother. You will hear a sinister growl in reply. You are now free to descend the stairs. Should the light from the stairs ever cease to shine, you can try running. The Night Mother's children love a bit of exercise before a feast. Should the light go out, however, when you reach the bottom of the stairwell, call the Night Mother. Then you will black out. You will wake up in a small, dark room illuminated by a single hanging light bulb. Stand up. You will notice there is a wooden chair and table. Might as well finish this story in that fucking voice. Sit in the chair. On the other side is the Night Mother. She will not speak. I'm going to change the accent though. Tell the Night Mother what you desire most in the world. Be sure it is something you cannot obtain, because the Night Mother asks a hefty price for the wishes she grants. Once you have told the Night Mother your wish, she will stretch out her hand. It will be nothing but bone and rotten flesh loosely hanging from it. Her fingers will dig into your skull, and your mind will be filled with images of dismembered corpses, deformed animals, and aborted fetuses, among other gruesome things. Whatever you see, do not open your eyes. Eventually, the images will stop, and the pain will fade, and you will fall into a deep slumber. When you awaken, you will be in front of the diner. You are free to go. When you reach the place that you call home, what you have wished for will have come to your possession. Now, every night when you sleep, you will dream of a dimly lit room in which the wish was granted, and you must sit down in the chair provided. The Night Mother will give you a picture of someone. The following day, you will see this person, and you must kill them and consume their flesh. Be sure that what you have wished for is worth it, because you are the Night Mother's slave until the day you die. Lol. That was The Night Mother by Black Cleric. Oh my god, Kermit the Frog. Well, I've got a backup of things I need to do first. Hep's voice. Hep's voice. Is there any I'm missing? Not that. Okay, so next one is for 4-Shot Pastas. Oh, also, thank you 4-Shot Pastas for the $5 and Drimwalker for the $5. So Hephaestus. Hephaestus. Josh, can you remind me how Hephaestus sounds? Is he... Hephaestus, he's the Alabama type voice, right? Don't threaten me with a good time. Oh, that's a bit... I'm gonna do half and half. I'm gonna do half this in one of them, half in the other. Okay, so we have the Terminator, and Hep's voice, and Kermit the Frog. Oh, you guys. You make me work for my money, don't you? Ooh. That popped nicely, but it also felt a bit... Ooh. This is Grandma Lily, By author not given. But I could find the author because they're the base of the page. By Daddy Tank. Oh, these names. People have great names. I asked for it, that's true.
Real Southern.
Right, I'm gonna look up Ernest P. Worrell. Because you give me references and I really fucking appreciate that, dude. Like with Gay Jake, too. Give me...
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, the state...
There's too many people talking. Come on, Ernest.
See, it's the one with the little elk on the label. Only it
One with
ain't
the little elk on the label. Okay, I'll give that a try. So, where were we? I recall my grandma's life and death only as I remember my mom telling me. From what I can understand, on February 2nd, 1998, my grandma fell victim to a car accident and died in the hospital sometime later. Not great. She was the last of my grandparents on both my mom and dad's side to go. The rest had died long before I was born. Probably not the best, but trying. I was only 3 years old at the time, and I have a hazy recollection of attending the funeral and seeing my grandma within the casket. I also vaguely remember being quite fascinated, as my young mind had not understood the concept of death. I've been traveling for most of my life, considering my dad worked for the United Airlines, so flying wasn't much of a surprise to me, even though I was only about 8. It was July 2002, if I recall correctly. And my mom and I had just landed in Chicago from Las Vegas, Nevada. Because this is a Las Vegas accent. Where we plan to live, and I still do. Customarily, we were driven by my Uncle Ray to Auntie Linda and Uncle Joe's house out in Algonquin. It was a pretty large house, and very cozy to say the least. My mom and I shared a room upstairs, which I believe had been my cousin Laurie's room before she moved out. A rather strange coincidence occurred. My mom, Auntie Linda, Uncle Joe, and most of my relatives began to explain stories to me about my family reunions. This, in turn, led to the talk of my grandma Lily, the one who the reunions became based around after her death. She was a great woman, very intelligent, very kind, and very loving. She flawlessly brought up my mom, my aunts, and my uncles. I'm going to move to the next voice now, as I've done half of the story. Ay, Dios mío. The next voice was it Terminator? Hep's voice, blah, 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 blah. Dreamwalker. Thank you again for the $5. You didn't suggest a voice? Okay. Jessica Dawn. Thank you for the $10. You suggested the Terminator. God, that's hard. She was the role model for what every woman should be. That's so shit, Scott. Come on, man. You can do better than that. I've never seen the Terminator. I know, sue me. Terminator. That was a caricature.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. He's back. Oh, he's just killing people. I need to hear his voice. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. She was the role model for what every woman should be. On top of this, she was very healthy and had no medical ailments before her death. even with her growing age. She had been in her mid-70s at the time, and possibly may have lived to a century had it not been for that fateful day. Hearing these consistently sincere stories from my mom, my aunts, my uncles, makes me wish she had lived so I could have met her. One thing so captivating about my grandma was that she was very loving, and she loved all her children. All of them! Her children, her children's children, her friends, and everyone around her with a warm heart. Then came a night that terrified me to the point it still haunts me. It was about 2 days before the reunion, and my mom and I were getting ready for bed. For bed! We had to share the one bed in the room, which didn't bother me at all since I didn't start sleeping on my own until I was about 9. It was about 9 or 10 at the time, according to the classical red text digital alarm clock on the nightstand. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I glanced at the clock, and I remember it being 1:36 a.m. Rubbing my eyes and letting them adjust to the darkness, I saw that my mom had left the closet open. The stupid bitch! As my eyes finally adjusted, I saw a horrifying sight. It was a white figure, resembling an anthropomorphic cloud vaguely shaped like a human, with no face and only barely discernible limbs. It looked like it was about to sprint across the room, as if it were a blurry shot of a runner in the middle of a race. I blinked my eyes and the figure had changed. This time, instead of looking like it was about to sprint across the room, it appeared to have its hands behind its back. It was staring at me with its faceless head, and I could only stare back, not knowing what to do. I was too frozen to even wake up. My mom, who was in the same bed, just taking up all the room. Stupid bitch. I stared with no idea what to do. I'm gonna do the rest for Kermit. It almost sounds like Nendor. I like Nendor. He's a funny character. Kermit the Frog. I hadn't. Again. I don't do these voices. I don't know how to do them. So if I end up doing them great, then fantastic. If I do them shit, I'm sorry. I can't. Nendo the Relentless. I hadn't even realized how much time I got those happy feet. How much time had passed. It seemed as if the morning had simply crept up on me. I recall still sitting up in bed, having passed out for what seemed to be a short period of time. I woke to my mom getting ready to go to the mall and pass some time. I began crying. I began crying. Just Kermit the Frog just suddenly crying like that. It's not easy being green. Prompting my mom to ask me what was wrong. I explained what I had seen that night to her. She tried to rationalize it as being a white dress in the closet. But there was absolutely nothing white in that closet, only dark clothes. I know this isn't great, but I'm trying. I can't even fucking find it anymore. I lost it. Whatever I had. I searched it thoroughly to be sure of this. She had no explanation for this and simply asked me why I didn't wake her up. I didn't know why then, and I still don't know why now. My Uncle Joe? Auntie Laurie and my mom all... I sound more like fucking... What's his name? Raymond. Ray Romano. And my mom all talked to me about it. And they said it was probably Grandma visiting and that I shouldn't be scared. It didn't change my feelings, though, and I remained scared. Years later, I heard that if a spirit is visiting a relative, then the haunted won't feel fear when they see a ghost, despite the odd surprise. What the hell's happening there? Fuck's sake. This observation scared me that much more, since I was scared out of my mind by this entity. I refused to believe it was my grandma. Up to now, I refuse to sleep with closets open, and I'm scared of waking up to see something staring at me. Still what? I got those happy... No. I got those happy feet. I still wonder what I saw in that closet, and whether or not it was my grandma. When I go back to the reunions, I make absolutely sure the closet is closed, and I sleep with the light on in that house. Okay, this story's over. God. Damn, what are you people doing to me? What are you doing? Thank you for that suggestion, clown this bitch. And thank you for the $5. I think this was a fantastic idea, because we have raised almost £200. That is roughly $200. So thank you guys so much. We're doing so good. I want to keep going. This is fun. It's stupid. It makes me laugh. So, good incentive. Too long. I'm not a Genshin Impact player. Stop insulting me. Just kidding. How long is this? Bit too long. Bit too long. We're not crazy long. Lyle. Random. I mean, I need 2 suggestions. Because right now we have Sean Connery. And I want to be fair to the other one, so I'm not narrating one too long. I have a poor grasp on this, though. Yeah, this one seems short. I'm also going to read the chat real quick. Whilst I'm taking a bit of a breather. I have this tiny remnant of juice to drink. Also, it got dark. You're very welcome, and thank you again for $10 more. Curse being stuck at work. I'm so sorry. Oh, damn. I need to move my legs. You guys, my setup sucks, and I need to get a different desk. It's my fault, really. Mo, you're a genius. Sean Connery's the next one. I've practiced Sean Connery before, but sometimes I can do it, and sometimes I absolutely can't. Hydrate. I just hydrated, don't worry. If I drink too much before bed, I get up to pee a bunch. Which is not good. Hell yeah, Bobcat. Bobcat Godwhite. Hey, Dexter, thank you for the $10. I love what you do, Scott, for nature and for the horror community. You're awesome. Dealer's choice on the story. Dealer's choice. That's me, right? I'm the dealer? Right, okay. I'm gonna look up who this Bobcat guy is. Just because you guys seem happy. Jar Jar things. Are you kidding me? Thanks again, Aesthetic Wealth, for the 70s. I can't really...
Can't you see I'm getting my beauty sleep?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Move it!
You just... I can't get a gauge on what he sounds like.
You sure told them. Did you ever think about, like, maybe getting some contact lenses or something like, you know?
I feel
You
like
look good, you know.
His scream was funny though. Probably gonna get this entire thing like fucking, I don't know.
And Bob Goldthwait joins us this morning.
To shreds.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, actually, I thought Tom might interview me. I used to live in Boston, and I've been a big...
Wait, did he used to do the voice of one of those demons from Hercules? Huh. It's I don't know, it's kind of hard to do what I'm kind of hearing. I don't know. No. I'm just going to leave it at that. You didn't pay for it. I'd have to practice that one. Anyway, Sean Connery is being denied here. Jeez. The recording from a friend. By someone. By Arkham's Knight. I don't know what Pee Wee Herman sounds like. I'll have to look them up too. But for now, I'm going to get Sean Connery out of the way. Oh, okay. I will look up Pee Wee Herman because it was you, Dexter, that requested it, and you did donate a allotted prize. A stout old man sits in the elegant armchair in the center of the room. His thin white hair smoothed back in his comb-over. His pale round face wrinkled and bears a pink scar that stands out against his skin. He wears an elegant maroon robe and white dress shirt that is stretched against his large stomach. A tape is in his lap, his dainty hand stroking it. A thin leg is crossed over the other. His brown pants hanging loosely off his ankle. A fancy pair of leather shoes cover his large feet. A large C-shaped wooden library circles around him. Many books are placed around in simple shelves. Amazing Spanish accent? Come on, man. I'm trying here. I thought that was pretty decent. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dexter. Placed at the end of the room. The old man... Gotta not do too heavy of a Scottish accent. The old man faces these doors. He wonders why they would come. An old but well taken care of portable cassette player sits on a small stool. Next to the old man, he picks it up. The old man plops the tape inside, hits the play button, and places it on the stool. He leans back in his chair as the tape starts to play. At first, the old man can hear only pages turning and deep breathing. Then a raspy voice fills the room. That'll be a perfect place to go to something else, but I don't think I did enough. Is that enough? Oh, it would be so funny if Sean Connery was listening to the next guy would have been Jar Jar Binks, so maybe not. Who was it? Oh no, it would be Dexter because he came first, and that would be Pee Wee Herman. Oh, I see. We both knew you'd be listening to this when they were coming for you. The voice started. Maybe I'll just... Yeah, actually, yeah. Okay. I have an idea. Hold on, I gotta practice. Listen. No. How the fuck? I forget how people sound, okay? Okay. Pee Wee Herman.
I'm trying to use the phone!
Oh, tequila. I want to hear him talk.
Morning, Mr. Breakfast! Can I have some Mr. T cereal? Okay! I pity the poor fool! Don't eat my cereal!
That's hard, man. He's so... That's so different. Okay! No, this sounds like it. Sounds too deep. Okay! No. It's almost fucking... it's... How the hell do I do that? Sorry, I'm doing... Good morning, Nick. I want to try it. Come on, let's... Come on, let's get some breakfast. No. Let's get some breakfast. He's really hard to do. Let's just do Jar Jar Binks, eh?
We both knew that you would listen to...
Is that how he sounds again? Fuck, I haven't watched Star Wars in years. Jar Binks. Okay, sorry guys. If you're new to the stream, people are paying me to do specific voices.
Oh, muy, I love you!
Almost got us killed.
Oh, more, I love you!
I expect.
The ability to
I
speak does
expect.
make you intelligent. Now get out of here.
No, Mrs. Stay.
Misa, stay! Okay, I think I can do that.
Good enough.
We both knew you would be listening to this when you're coming from you. When they are coming for you.
The voice started.
At least, I have a good faith that you will.
The voice chuckled, which led into a long coughing fit. After a few moments of this fit, he resumed his message.
I shall have to make this quick. They have been hunting me for weeks now. And I have had to hide in the whole old mines. Not very good for the lungs, you see. Misa got bronchitis.
The old man thinks back to all the moments he had spent with this dear, long-dead friend.
But sadly, they have tracked me down.
The man speaking through the recorded player continued the grim tone of voice.
By the time Theodore gets to you, I'll be long dead. I just hope that you will outlive me by many, many years.
And the old man, and now that he knew that his time was up, it was time to finally hear what his friend had to say.
I can hear them coming down the walls,
the man said, his grim voice replaced with that of fear. Then, a slightly muffled speech rang out. The man started muttering a quick prayer to the gods. The old man could barely make out the jumbled words. There was a large crashing noise, and the same screeching that the old man heard a few moments ago was suddenly much more clear.
This is goodbye! This is Misa final goodbye, Henry! I shall see you on the banks of the...
The man started to shriek. Ah! He was caught off by a large slashing noise. Then the room was eerily silent. Henry picks up the cassette player. He examines the player for a second, before he throws it across the room. It breaks, and with the tape, he leans back in his chair. Then, he hears the same muffled screech coming from the hall. That was fun. What the fuck? Oh, a lot of characters. Lot of characters here. Hey, we reached the 200 pound mark. Thank you guys so much. Logan Whiplash donated $10. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work as always. Just looked back and started the security guard at Secret Prison series. Oh, very nice. A lot of characters in there I love. Can I get a narration as Goofy? I will try my damn hardest for you, but I suck at Goofy. So we did Jar Jar Binks, we did Sean Connery, we did your... Who was it? Oh, I tried Pee Wee Herman. You can suggest another one. You suggest another one, Dexter, just to be fair. Maybe try a super famous character or person. I know Pee-wee is, but I'm British. We never really got Pee-wee in the UK. Good fucking riddance. I just don't care. I'm just gonna turn my lights on and close this curtain. There's set curtains. Actually, this kind of fits the horror theme a bit better, doesn't it? But you can barely see me, that's the problem. I mean, you can still see me, so that's good enough.
Lisa Misa Jar Jar Binks. I don't know. These Gungans are very strong fighters. You're gonna lose. I'll kick you in the ass.
You would suggest... Okay. So I'll try and do all of this in Goofy. Just for both of you. Why is that music louder? Did I accidentally turn the music up? Just to let people know if you've just joined, donations over $5 will be narrated... donations over $5, I will narrate a short story, or at least a part of a short story, in an accent or voice of your choosing. So, if you want to help a great cause and also make some great laughs, then go ahead. I'll try to do the voice. I can't guarantee I'll do it well, but I will try. So here is Who Are You Running From? By... Sorry, one sec. Just making sure we credit the author. By Walking Ditto. In Goofy's voice as best as I can. The game! That was so shit! That was so shit! The Game Boy camera! Gosh. I can never do Goofy.
The Game Boy camera, seen as a revolutionary piece of technology when it first hit the shelves in 1998. The idea you could take real pictures with your Game Boy and print them, no less, was unthinkable at the time.
God, so bad. Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins. Okay, halfway through, I'll switch to Dick Van Dyke. I'll have to look him up, Mary Poppins, but...
Tons of kids rushed to the stores to buy the world's smallest digital camera to go with their Game Boy Color, blissfully unaware of what expected from the game that came with it. The game came with several mini-games aside from the technically simple picture editing software. You could even play Space Invader type game with your picture as the final boss. The main menu included the options Shoot, View, and Play. If the player chose Shoot on the interface, she would be greeted by a screen that resembled some
I'm fucking slipping. To even shittier.
Some sort of strange JRPG. More options would appear on the screen, such as Shoot, Items, Magic, Check, and Run. If the Run option was selected, a strangely distorted face would appear on the screen. The face appears to be a doodled on with fake hair, lips, eyebrows, and eyes cruelly drawn all over a male's face. A black star is to be able to print it on the face forehead.
Sounds more like Patrick now.
The man in the photo seems to be posing with one finger over his mouth, as if telling someone to hush, hush. The picture comes with a caption as well, which reads, "Who are you running from?"
Okay. I'm not really that active on Discord now. So Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins for the other half. He's got like a really Cockney accent, ain't he? It's been years since I've watched this.
Alright, ladies and gents, comical poem, suitable for the occasion, extemporized and thought up before your very eyes. Alright, here we go. Room in for everyone, gather around.
It's hard. In the American version, sound more like fucking Michael Caine.
In the American version of the game accessory, two other faces can readily appear throughout the game. One face seems to be of a man whose face has also been drawn on. He has been given female hair, and a bizarre wave symbol had been drawn on his forehead. The other face was obviously female, with artificial eyes and drawn pigtails. The face had the same wave symbol drawn onto her forehead. These faces were occasionally accompanied by the same eerie query: "Who are you running from?" The Japanese version of the game had two additional faces that would pop up at random intervals whilst playing. The game faces seemed to be a male with scribbled eyes and an unnerving smile. It is unclear whether or not the hair on the face is real, as the resolution is extremely low. The face also had waves drawn onto its forehead. The final face is seemingly of a man drawn with a drawn scowl and a cartoonishly long hair. The eyes on his face are also doodled, as well as most of the other features on his face. The face is the only one without a symbol on its forehead, and is also only face without a devilishly synthetic smile. Another more subtle difference is that sound more like fucking Dr. Jekyll now. Is that the picture seems to be taken in a different location than all the others. The previous faces have all have nothing but a white backdrop, but this one seems to have some sort of object in the background. It's believed that these pictures are a result of a kidnapping done by a strange cult. The figure with a black star drawn on its forehead is said to be the leader of the group. Think about. While the other ones with waves on their hair are said to be disciples, the face without any symbols and the dark scowl is believed to be an unlucky victim. It is unclear what the condition of the victim is in the photograph, or how these pictures managed to be included in the game. The motive of the cult is also unclear, as nobody that resembles the victim has ever been recovered. Sounds like an old uncle. Oh my god. You chose the hardest voice I've ever had to do. Thank you very much, Baloney Bong. Thank you very much for the $20. Thank you so much. Your content has been a great assistance in transforming my life. You're a main listen for when I left weight. Oh yeah, brother! Oh! Wait, I can't see myself. It doesn't show very good here. I should get naked. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm kind of a bit ass-speed out. You ever have those days, bro, when you feel less buff than you usually are? Feels bad, man.
I did run today. I went on a run. God, my mouth is dry. I'm finding next story to do the next suggestion. That's the wrong thing. It's a bit... Oh, this is short. I think. Okay. Thank you, Wicked, for the $10. Love Cerber Feast. How about some Borg for us fans? Oh my god. Like, I'm trying to remember how I did Borg's voice. It's been a fucking minute. Pardon my language, but it's been a minute since I've done his voice. Yeah, I'll do this one. This one's really... I'll leave this one for... like a voice I want to try out. What the hell? How do I... Oh, it's Scottish. My heritage, that, eh? That is not as short as it looked. How about Borg reading some poetry, right? Okay. Do you guys remember the episode Borg came into it? Just so I can remember how to do Borg's voice. Because Borg is a very tough character. You going to bed? Good night. There's the camera. I'll come to you, don't worry. Love it. A rat? I'll eat it later. Borg read erotic I can't do erotic. Not on YouTube, I'm afraid. Okay. Oh no. This is behind the scenes. I showed you behind the scenes. By the way, those estimates are not accurate. Just in case you're like, oh wow. What was I doing? Oh yes. Sherber. We prefer the paranormal. You know what? I can't remember what episode he comes into it. I'll just... This is a bit short, so maybe I should do The Raven by Borg. Alright, hold on. Just making sure. When did you say you came into it? Borg came into it... It's a really long poem, is it? I remember it being fairly short. I'm stupid. I chose a different thing. Oh yeah, it is quite long. My bad. I'll do The Deepest Despair with Borg instead. That is not the one I clicked on. What's going on, machine? Okay, I'll do it, and you guys can tell me if it's accurate or not.
Is Borg sound like this? Or is he louder? I can't remember. It has been so long.
I feel like that's what he sounded like.
Can Borg sound like this? Or is he louder?
God, that hurts.
This Borg? Borg has been reborn! Fantastic!
Part 2? Okay, we'll listen to part 2 real quick. Cerber Part 2. I mean, who else does Cerber? It's me, baby. It's me. I'm the Cerber guy.
Application where I asked you an airtight container to hold.
I miss being able to put the phone effect on my videos because I updated Audacity and they removed the thing that I use to put that filter over it. Annoying.
Borg was dragging a very large hammer. My attention on this.
Yes, Borg build friends. Borg need beer.
Oh, buddy,
Jim funny. Borg like Jim.
I give him a weak smile and decide to just focus my attention on the road. We were rounding the last turn of
God,
the trail. I looked at the
2019.
abandoned warehouse, and it's just as...
So Borg kind of have a Russian accent too. I forget.
Too loud! I bark at-
Look bad.
Are you fucking kidding me? Good night, Borg. Go sleep. Borg too loud! I bark at him with a grin. He grins back and begins his short, seemingly painful walk to the front doors of the and walks over to my window.
Thanks, Jim. Go sleep. Jim look bad.
Jim look bad. I didn't feel. I couldn't. Not in this void. We spent weeks on end laughing and joking. Then you left me. I never felt that way to someone. You and we were perfect together. Then you left me. It broke me, my very spirit. I couldn't believe what you were gone. That you were gone. I knew I died that night. I wallowed in grief. I spent weeks waiting for you. Waiting for a return. You never came. And I still wait. I wait and wait.
This is why I'm doing it in the poem.
For you to come back. You are my friend. My partner in crime. My finest comrade. My brother. My killer. My life and my soul. All I want, more than anything else, is to just see your smile.
And now you know that it hurts me to do Borg's voice. Oh, man. That was very emotional from Borg. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it was a really short story. And I'm sorry it was so short for the person who donated for Borg's voice. But, as you can see, that was useful. So, yeah, thank you for that. Oh, have we caught up, actually? That was suggested by Wicked, thank you. Okay. Baloney, you never suggested anything unless you want to suggest something in the chat now. You're more than welcome. Because you did pay. Voice boxedly speaking. Oh, I'm happy to help you relive the moments. Borg need beer?
Borg need... hydration for throat.
To give me a break? I mean, some voices aren't hard to do. So, if someone wants to donate, I will bleed for this organization. Anything to get the wolf back in my country, or the lynx, or the bear, or even the moose. You know, we had moose in the UK. They're extinct, unfortunately. Ah, okay. You're doing a Jackie Escado. Jackie Escado. Jackie Escado. Oh, Jackie! Oh, I played these games. They were good. Oh. I can't remember his voice at all.
I remember the night of my 21st birthday.
I remember the night of my 21st birthday.
That was the first time I died.
That was the first time I died. What's this? Is this okay? Is that... That was a fun game. I enjoyed the darkness.
The darkness, Jackie. Sniff my balls.
Come on, Jackie, speak.
I love this subway station.
I love this subway station. Uncle Paulie brought me down here on vacation one time to count the stars.
Uncle Paulie brought me down here on vacation one time. Count the trains.
Wait, why did I say the stars? Oh yeah, great place to go count stars, the subway station. Not all that bad. You remember it was like your birthday. I remember it much too clearly. So vivid and clear. Lamp above flickered like an old movie. The chair is stiff and cold. Straps made old rope. Strapped my hands hard against the torn blue plastic on the chair. My feet and neck is also strapped. Stiff and uncomfortable feelings arising like fire and gasoline. For my surroundings, I would say there was nothing. Just a black abyss. Fear prickled like a cactus. My eyes looked around wide at the new discovery. The floor was red. Red with not blood, but it was covered with fragments of body parts. An ear, an eye, leg, head, teeth. My mouth tingled with the thought of being torn from my pearly whites. A creak snapped my attention, but it echoed to the location was unknown. The snap of a bone echoed. The darkness. Oh, the darkness. Oh my God, what are the chances? The darkness seemed to come closer with every flicker of the lamp. The breath turned rough. I was now sweating. I wanted to shut my eyes, but I was frozen. Another footstep followed, but this time closer, followed by a thud. Step, thud, step, thud. My body shivered, and I tried to look for the source. A light, feathery feeling brushed my neck and then brushed harder. The feeling spoken at me. I could not see the person nor the reasoning. A breath brushed against my skin and I shivered and felt tears well up in my eyes. A voice comes out of my throat, but it's only a squeak. The feeling went away and I was left yet again alone. A hand fell on my leg. I motioned my eyes down to the spot where I felt it. A hand was gripping my ankle. Just a hand. I looked around. All the body parts were moving. I felt a shriek come on, but all I could do was watch the horrific image. The hand was crawling up my leg and the eyeball rolled and tapped my sneaker. A finger inched its way, wormed up closer to my shin. The hand now on my lap was very slowly crawling higher and higher. I was scared. More parts came out of the darkness. The light above made it look like a stop-motion image. The hand now going up and over my chest. A voice leaked out of my mouth. I pushed it out. All that came out was a scream. A high-pitched scream. I got control of my body again and the rope held my power lower. My power lower. I flailed hard and tried to shake it off, my head moving as much as I could. An arm came close and gripped my leg, but I didn't want to climb. It was tearing on my leg, pulling it hard. It seemed to be trying to pull it off. I realized it. Trying to shake it off, I realized that they were one of my body parts to themselves. I shrieked and flailed, tears now overflowing my face. The hand now on my neck, barely. Body parts crawling up. Crawling on my limbs and pulling my sockets. The hand gripped my neck. My voice. Place was cut off. I choked out the last squeak before being cut off completely. My eyes squeezed shut. I felt several places where my skin was ripping. I gave up. My skin was tearing more and more, blood staining my clothes. The light blew out. Gone. But don't you worry. You might not go that brutally. And it's not that bad being here. You can have lots of friends. Even though the finger gets annoying sometimes, poking at my eye sockets. It gets so annoying when I have to bite at it to make it stop. Other than that, it's fine. Being had, it's not all that bad. That was that guy. What are the chances? I know, right? Hey, sis, how's it going? Hurts. Irish elk also used to exist throughout throughout most of Eurasia, but the moose we had, well, we call it the European elk in Europe, but it's basically a moose. It is a moose. It's in the same genus and family as the moose. It's just a slightly different species that's native to Eurasia as opposed to the Americas. But it is separate from the Irish elk, which is now extinct. As is Ol's sister, I can vouch she's absolutely terrified of horror games. It's a must-see. Well, it's way too late to do that tonight. My VR headset also, Tony, is not working. Unfortunately. I tried to play VR chat just for fun a few months ago, and it just would not work. So that's kind of fucked, unfortunately. Shots fired, I don't want to watch. I watched Daz Black for the exact same reason. That's a pretty good idea. Scott playing horror games, doing commentary in different voices. It's peak entertainment. Hey, Fast Hemi Mechanist. Just gonna make sure I didn't miss any more donations. I did Borg. I did Baloney Bong. Yep. Alright. We have been going for 3 hours and 21 minutes. We have raised £226 and 32 pence. That's pretty decent. Thank you guys all for donating. Thor is too scared. Hello, Fast Hemi Mechanist. Welcome to everyone who's joined. What I am currently doing... It's weird. What I'm currently doing is narrating things in weird accents and voices. But only when someone does at least a $5 donation and suggests that voice. I'll be doing a few more, then I think I'm going to wrap it up because I don't want to stay up too late tonight. I've been not sleeping too great. I'm not a great sleeper in general. But yeah, get them coming in, guys. This is... It's a nice challenge for me as well. Hags. That's a short one. Fairly short. So if you want to go back once this turns into a VOD, you can get some stories narrated by my normal narrating voice. Yeah, my normal narration voice when this becomes a VOD. Yeah. Thank you for the £9, Princess Gumuf, sis. But no horror games, it's way too late for me. Plus I would have to install them right now, which would be terrible. It would be very, very slow. In the future, possibly, when I want to do another one of these things. So, feel free to suggest a voice. Hey, thanks again, Baloney Bong, for the $5. Paul McCartney. Oh my god. I don't know what Paul McCartney sounds like. Even as a beetle.
Hey, mate, I'm in Liverpool, and I'm wondering if you can help. Love and togetherness. I feel like...
Come on, I want to hear his voice. Talk! Stop singing, you words!
I would say to people that out of, I think it's about 300 songs that John and I wrote together, we never had a dry session. We'd always come in and we never went away from the session going,
that's
"Couldn't
hard.
get it today."
It's so subtle.
Always finished a song, which is pretty remarkable.
It's pretty remarkable. Really, I mean, I'm kind of just, no.
I Lost My Little Girl. It's the first song I wrote. That was very simple,
It's very simple and...
It's hard doing a voice that is actually native to my area. Because he's from Liverpool, right? And I live in the Liverpool city region. And this accent is something I hear all the time, but I can't replicate. And I don't have normally.
chords, 4 chords. And yeah, it was real early, little kind of rock and roll thing. I got a guitar when I was early teens.
Early teen. That is so hard. I can't do it.
And I learned a couple of chords.
I learned a couple of chords.
I learned a G and a G.
I learned a G and a...
This is the best I can do, man.
Every nation has their own variation of the wicked old witch, to the point where it's a stereotype lodged not by media, reserved for frightening little children on Halloween or playing the antagonist in often simplified fairy tales that have been altered significantly from their often darker and roots of mythology and legend.
Don't worry, Tony, I'll get to something for you, don't worry. But not a game. I didn't say I'd play a game if you paid. I didn't say that. Be like, I paid you 50 quid! Why aren't you showing your bumhole to me?
Well, I'm from there.
Oh wait, what did you want me to do? A hood voice? Tony, a hood voice. That sounds awfully offensive. I mean, if I'm trying to impersonate a specific person, like 50 Cent, like you're suggesting, I could try that. And then I need to look up what he sounds like. But anyway.
G7.
G7. Where I'm from, they're known as hags, and although the term has slowly begun to be replaced with the generic witch, it's still widely used. Though belief in these supernatural beings has long died out, even in the more remote regions of the Scottish Highlands.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to call it there on that voice, if you don't mind, because fucking difficult. It's not as good. 50 cent. I can't spell. 50 equals cent? Oh, really? I mean, I like 50 cent.
2 kids and...
Both came up on the gritty streets of Jamaica, Queens.
The gritty
Two
streets
street
of Jamaica,
kids, now
Queens.
men. It's sad it had to end this way.
Said I had to end this way. Once believed to be spirits in nature.
God, I don't know. It feels wrong, you know?
But before I go into that,
once believed to be the spirits in nature, not unlike the fairies, who were originally far darker than the winged humanoids made popular by Disney. The eggs were feared and worshipped in equal parts over many parts of Scotland. As Christianity began to spread, however, the eggs lost their original purpose as nature spirits and took on the malevolent roles that then come to associate with the wicked witch.
Is there fan fiction about me? I've never come across it. If you know some, then present it. Mothers was warned disobedient children by grizzly black Annis, whose long claws would capture children from their beds and split them off in the countryside, where she would devour them, adding their bones to a small pile situated deep in the cave someplace mythical hills. Why are you getting loud, music? You're trying to quiet me. 50 Cent died trying. Someplace in the mythical hills. Others would discourage adventurous youths from playing near streams or ponds by telling them tales of Jenny Greentooth. Hey, that's from around here. Jenny Greentooth, the malevolent spirit, would take on the form of floating weeds or branches, dragging those who strayed across the edge of the watery grave. He sounds like, when I do him, he sounds like he's falling asleep.
Let's start from the beginning.
He does sound very tired.
It's sad it had to end in Jamaica, Queens. We both came up on the gritty streets of Jamaica, Queens.
Both came up on the gritty streets of Jamaica, Queens. An innocent, many innocent, I feel like he's barely like talking. Many innocent men and women were victimized under brutal witch hunts in the height of the superstitious age. The now infamous burning of witches began one of the darkest chapters of European history. One that would sadly resurface overseas in the Salem witchcraft trials. Oh man, I'm getting so tired. Across Scotland were numerous stones and witches' wells, dedicated to the memory of those poor unfortunate souls who were sacrificed to demons of religious fanaticism and mob mentality. Yet this tragedy only shows how very real the threat of hags was seen, be in the eyes of our ancestors. Everything went wrong could have been blamed on these malicious crones, ranging from minor afflictions to the death of cattle or even tragedy in the household. Even in the modern age, when one takes the time to head to the more remote areas of Scotland, one can understand why the land was once thought to be crawling with goblins, ghouls, and hags. As the mist comes down from the mountains, one can easily imagine the spectral crone walking amongst the haze, casting her spells and looking for unwary children to feast on. For the tranquil scenes of the mist and the heather had a brutal and bloody past, rife with treachery and clan warfare, which is why I am one of the relatively few who have begun to believe in hags again. Though not as the wicked witches of early Christian dogma, but instead as spirits of unhappy and restless souls, wandering the landscape and searching for a long lost... Whoa, fuck you, bitch. Watch your time. Even as towns and cities start to stretch across what was once an open countryside, I imagine the hags continue their spectral walk. After all, the living world is fleeting. The world of the spirits is truly eternal. Through the days of sword and superstition and long fading, the spirits of Scotland and many hags remain. Bitch. There's 50 Cent reading about hags. Plankton got served. SpongeBob! Right, guys. Unless we have some more donations, I'll call it soon. Oh, we reached 1,000 views on the stream. Nice. I mean, we have around 46 concurrent viewers who are currently here, but we have over 1,000 views on the stream in total. Now I want an audiobook narrated by 50 Cent. I've not visited in a while. It's like been a few weeks. You know me, I've been busy with my job. New job and all that, eh? It is midnight for me. Good night, y'all. Good night, Aesthetic Wolf. Thank you for dropping by. Dropping some cash on our lovely charity. Don't leave me have abandoned. He is very young to be so masterful. Aww. Apart from YouTube, my other job is a events ranger. So basically, I narrate. Sorry. I'm so used to telling people what I do on YouTube. My brain, it just stopped. I take people on tours through the zoo, and I tell them about animals, the problems they face in the wild, issues with like palm oil and climate change. Basically, I just educate people. It's nice. I can ramble at people about animals all the time. Mr. Krabs, Tony, you have to pay, remember? You paid once, you have to pay again. 4Shot's done it. He's asking for Louis. So every time I do Louis, the first time I was ever told Louis's accent or the best comparison accent was to try and do, what's his name? Josh, you told me to do, who was it again? Joe Pesci, I think. And I remember watching a few videos of Joe Pesci, and one of the lines that stuck with me to try and get into the character of Louis was it Louis? Yeah, it's Louis.
You fucker motherfucker, you. You fucking motherfucker, you. And I, Frenzy. Plankton got served. I'm sure many have heard of lost episode creepypastas. They're usually an incredibly graphic episode that conveys such fear for children that it was never aired. Though someone managed to sneak a viewing or owns one of the tapes. The most popular example of this is Squidward's Suicide, in which Squidward commits suicide. Hence the title.
Especially in my cousin Vinny. Congrats on the new job. Thank you very much. Oh, if you're going, good night. Oh, Elizabeth Black coming in with a 20. I will be doing Smeagol after this. I think I can do a pretty decent Smeagol. So I'll get like, yeah, about halfway.
Of course, all of these creepypastas are false. Yet I remember a SpongeBob episode that was altered heavily, but remains in circulation today. This is One Course Meal from Season 7. In the episode, Mr. Krabs finds out that Plankton is horrified of whales and uses it to his advantage. This is one of the least popular episodes of the show due to the dark nature of the episode, even after the episode was heavily altered. Now, how would I have seen this episode before it was edited? It's simple, really. This is one of 7 SpongeBob episodes that was revealed on the internet before it aired on TV. Always a big fan of the show, I was excited of the idea of having a SpongeBob episode premiere on the internet before television. I rapidly reloaded the Nick page, and finally, the episode came up. It was known as Plankton Got Served, though it was eventually changed. Most of the episode is identical to the one that is in circulation today. Plankton manages to break into the Krusty Krab and ties up Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob. As he's about to finally get the secret formula from SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs' daughter, Pearl, walks in. This terrifies Plankton and causes him to run out. Plankton later claims his ancestors were eaten by whales and that's why he fears them so. Mr. Krabs realizes this fear that Plankton has and decides to use it against them. The mook. He dresses up as his daughter and begins to follow Plankton around, frightening him. Plankton decides he can no longer take it and decides to make the ultimate decision. Plankton decides to commit Sudoku. Yep. This is still in the show today. You're free to watch it. It's there. Don't call me a liar. Fuck you, I'm a liar. Plankton waits for the bus and he lies in the street, waiting to get run over. That's when SpongeBob comes over and tries to convince him to continue his existence. This is where the alteration in the video, the 2 version, begins to change. Plankton fails here to heed SpongeBob's words and remains there. In the altered version, that was shown. SpongeBob tells Plankton that it was Mr. Krabs' pearl the entire time. And he gets up.
It's roughly half, right? Yep. Smeagol. Smeagol. Where? He gets up.
In another altered version, SpongeBob says the same things, but Plankton refuses to believe him. SpongeBob decides that the only thing he can do is show him the truth to drag Mr. Krabs outside.
Oh, my neck.
Soon after he leaves, the typical red bus comes speeding along. Plankton sits up and watches it hit him as everything fades to darkness.
It's almost like Stitch.
Or Hannah means family.
Yeah, I'm sitting back down. My neck hurts. It hurts my neck somehow.
Plankton finds himself standing on a single platform overlooking darkness. In the darkness he sees whales, all looking up at him. They are members of his family he can faintly make out, calling for him to jump down. Plankton looks above and sees the lights. He can scarcely believe this. This would seem to represent heaven and hell. Plankton, resigned to his fate, jumps and plunges down into the darknesses. This is when the episode ends.
Oh, God. Like, somehow, just sitting down and doing that voice hurts my neck, which I have to watch because I, like, have a bulging disc. I don't know how. Yeah. Good night, Tony. Sleep well.
Now some of you may have saw the show as soon as it came available online. Apparently not fast enough. After seeing the episode online, I reloaded the page to find an altered version shown on the website. I kept reloading. Curious as to how the first version.
I've got to stop. That's really hurting my back. I mean, the neck. I don't know how. I literally don't know how that hurts my neck. Maybe I'm just tensing up too much. But oh my God, that is not fun. How's Smeagol hurting me? Smeagol's hurting me. I mean, I'll try to finish. You paid $20, so...
First version, the only answer I can imagine for viewings of the original episode was that creators uploaded the wrong files. The moment after uploading it recognized such. I may be the only one who saw this version that... I truly do not know the sick ambitions of the creators of SpongeBob had in mind with this episode. Why would the kids show portray death? Why would the kids show portray heaven and hell?
Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'll finish this story off and then I'm gonna call it for the day. The next person who suggests a voice in the chat gets it for free to finish off these last 3 paragraphs. Just because I'm nice like that. Oh man, I'm gonna sleep tonight. Oh, how did I fuck up my neck just by speaking? Oh man. And I've got to do like... Wait, which exercise is it tomorrow? I have 3 workout chains I do. Dwayne Johnson's workout. I like a high rep, low weight workout. Lower weight workout and just high weight, low rep workouts. Oh, sorry. I wasn't looking at the chat, so I don't know who came in. Okay, sorry. From now, the next person. Because I wasn't looking at the chat at the time. Actually, in fact, we'll see. Okay, next person. What? Be yourself. I feel like Corey got in there. People are saying Tim Corey as well. Stitch, you basically just got Stitch with a bad cough there. Okay, I'll read this one in Tegan, because I love Tegan. Oh, I need to look up who Tim Curry is again. I think I know who he is. I think you know. Tim Curry. Yeah, that's who he is. Tim Curry played it? Oh, I forgot that.
Psychotic clown from outer space. Pennywise. Down here we float.
Pennywise.
Down here we float. Curry, you may know me as Dr. Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, or as the deranged psychotic clown from outer space.
I hadn't seen him like this. I don't really.
I'm escaping to the one place that has a
I'm escaping to the one place! Okay, I'll do this one. None! Fuck me, I pulled out my headset.
Nonetheless, unaltered version is impossible to find. I've searched as hard as I can, and I've failed to find anything legitimate about the episode I'd seen. People had always told me I had seen only an altered version, and they too were surprised of the dark themes portrayed in the show. Nonetheless, I knew what I saw.
I know people would fail to believe me. People would accuse me of just trying to scare people. People would say I have no evidence. There are no photos. There's no evidence of this occurrence. I only saw it once, and it never occurred to me to do such.
And the last one, as me. I know the truth, and I want other people to know as well. Maybe someone out there saw this episode as well as I can confirm it. As well and I can confirm. As well as I and can confirm it. Until then, I hope you enjoyed reading about my experience. And we're going to call it there, everybody. Thank you all for coming to the stream. Oh, this one's really short. Nah. No, I'm not gonna get debated. Not gonna debate myself. Debated. Someone take a screenshot of this, I'll be like... Cause... Look at him there. Looking over my shoulder. Yes, thank you all for coming. Just to let you know, we have raised £259.19 for Rewilding Britain. I will be putting my own money onto that as well, because it's great organisation. I don't mind a little bit of that. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. A little painful, so I'm going to have to do some stretches before bed. But yeah. Sorry, I'm just checking something. Is that because the light is not... Sorry. I'm very vain. So if I get the shadows right, it's all about shadows, lighting. I need to get bigger again. Yeah. Good thing it's on day tomorrow. Feel a lot less self-conscious. Anyway, everybody. Good night. Thank you so much. And remember, you're my monsters. No one else's. Okay? Yeah, I think this will just... It will be a VOD automatically, I believe, so... Yeah, okay, anyway. You're my monsters. Good night. Bless your souls. If you have them.
David Adams!